that's northern Nigeria. It's owned by Northerner from northern Nigeria. So there are like several local airlines that is owned by Nigeria, not just
Yeah,
LP.
yeah. I mean, I know there's many West African airlines. I
Yeah.
know Air Peace is not the only one, but the only reason I talk about that, brother, so much is because we talk about Dangote all the time in here, and Dangote is a brilliant man. Like, so is there some kind of somebody? There's some kind of background. Is someone talking? Okay, okay. Wait, so someone's talking in the background. Who is that? Is that a recording or a video or something? Okay. But my thing is this, okay, is that it's here's what these African billionaires and stuff need to understand. Wait, who's talking? Please, there's you got to shut that video off, man.
The
Somebody
background
has,
noise. Hold on. The background noise is actually coming from you. Everybody else is muted.
but there's some kind of. Hold on.
It's coming from you.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, I fixed it. All right, now my thing is this, is this okay? You what these Nigerians especially, but any African that has a lot of money, what the brother who owns Air Peace, the Dangote, all of them, what they need to realize is when you are at that level, because see the brother that owns Air Peace 4 years ago, the U.S. Department of Justice, they put a fraud charge on him because they said he was buying planes, Boeing jetliners, and he was filling out the paperwork for it and writing the checks, but he didn't really have the money. But he kept like just writing these checks and stuff, anyways for these aircraft. What they need to understand is that yes, Nigerians are brilliant business people. Okay, we
Okay,
got it, and
okay,
they
hold on,
should be
hold on.
celebrated. Brother, hold on.
Hold on,
They
now
they
let me
should be
explain the issue.
celebrated for that.
Let me explain the issue to you. If we are being honest, he was cheating the country like Nigeria. For example, during the time he was doing that thing, there was the foreign exchange was different. The black market exchange was more higher, and the government exchange rate was more lower. So what he was doing is that he would he will let the federal government know that he wants to purchase airlines. You understand me? Then they will sell a foreign currency for him in a cheaper rate, maybe 400. You understand me? 400 naira per dollar. Then when that
Okay.
money is approved for him for those airlines, he will take the money will transfer to another company. Then that company will not transfer the money back to Nigeria without buying any of those things that he said he was going to buy, and they will not sell the money to the black market again for like 800. Then you get 100% profit without doing anything. So that's how he had the issue with the FBI or the Fed in the
Okay, I
US.
get it. I get it. I understand. I
So he
understand.
was,
Okay,
let's be
you
honest,
explained that well. You
yeah,
explained that well. But what
he
I
was
was saying is this:
Nigeria, yes, as a
the
country.
point I was trying to make is this: is that what these African millionaires and billionaires, what y'all need to understand, what they need to understand, is that when you come to the U.S. and you're doing business, you could be doing business with the West and stuff, exchanging all kind of money and stuff. Okay, but if you don't know how to properly interact with the Western, I guess, judicial system, okay, you will be targeted because the way that the Western governments look at it is that, oh, we got these Nigerians coming in here, they got millions and millions of dollars. Hey, let's put a charge on them so that we can at least fine them and like tax them for doing business in our infrastructure or in our space. That's how they look at it. They want him to have to go and pay a lawyer and go pay court fees and stuff to the U.S. government for him to do business over here. So it's a shakedown. That's all it is. And
if we are being
To
honest,
understand that. See, the Asians, if you look at Mitch McConnell, right, is a very famous Republican congressman in the U.S. I think he's
yes,
retired now.
I
His name
know
is Mitch
I know
McConnell.
him. I know him. Go ahead. I know him.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. Well, and see, and he basically was dating this Asian woman. I don't know if she was from Singapore or Thailand or something. She was a Southeast Asian, Vietnam or whatever. She was a Southeast Asian woman. He had this Southeast Asian girlfriend. Well, the girlfriend's family, they own all these cargo ships, all these those big transport ships that you see, or big tankers and freighters, the oil tankers and the freighters and stuff that go across the Pacific. Well, her family, they own a lot of those. And what happened was they got implicated in, they were trying to say that they was transporting drugs on some of the ships. They caught them with drugs and some of those containers and stuff on those ships and stuff. And what happened was Mitch McConnell was able to use his connections so that her family didn't get indicted. See, that's what I'm talking about when you about doing business on a high level like that. Okay, because if she had not been with Mitch McConnell, all right, that company got caught doing that, and she didn't have the connections to fight it, okay, they would have been got indicted. They would have been got like some huge fine and stuff on their company, and they wouldn't be doing business in the U.S. So that's what I'm talking about, and that's what Africans need to understand is that when you get to a certain level, y'all got to start playing those high stakes games, and that's just what it is. And you need to learn. They need to know how to navigate because I think sometimes that like he was just throwing money at Boeing, man. This dude, the owner of Air Peace, he was buying 737 Max 10s. Just throwing the money on the table, throwing the checks on the table. Hey, give me 10 of those 737. The newest 737 Boeing has. Even the American Airlines don't have Max 10s yet. Or they're just like American and United and South, all the American airlines, they're just now getting 737 Max 10, and the Max 10 has been out for like 5 6 years, and they're just now getting. A lot of these foreigners companies they had this.
What happened? Hmm?
The cattle rancher finally got him.
Okay. So
Anyway,
Yeah,
okay.
so Kaiser, what I was saying is that I think us Africa, we need to stop blaming only the government for Africa problem. We, the Africa citizen, we also need to talk about our own failure because our own failure actually contribute more for of the
But
downfall of the
Nigeria
country.
first, how you feel about the topic though? How you feel about the fact that the government let a white man buy land in Kenya to do experiments on the Kenyans?
Even if, okay, for example, let's say the government was very stupid. I think the Kenyan themselves they have scientists and other sensible people in the country. They can actually do their own s- look at the stuff that he's presenting, do their own research, do their own findings. If it is good for the people, okay. If it is not good, then you pass down your recommendation to your to your president or to whatever you want to pass the recommendation to. It's not by force.
Okay, hold on, wait, I fell out. Did you guys hear the last thing that I said?
Not
Because
really.
I
Yes,
But
felt.
yes, continue.
Yeah, so I'm saying, what do y'all think? And this is for you, Nigeria first, for Dante, for everybody in here. When they see this man going and he just throwing money on the table, buying these planes, he's buying these planes like they're, He buying these planes like he at Walmart. Okay, these planes cost hundreds of millions of dollars. Like a 737 Max 10 costs 110 million dollars. And the fact that this man is just able to just get this stuff, and even a lot of these white guys, you know, can't get it. What do you think's going and what their thought process?
Okay, let me tell you what. See, I don't think that's the reason why he was being investigated. We as a black people, we need to be honest. You understand me? We can't be blaming. I know. I actually read this thing. I know what he did. What he did was wrong. You understand me? You cannot be collecting invoice from this thing, fake invoice, and you'll be getting cheaper currency exchange rate. Then you bring the money back and sell it and making profit without doing anything. That was, you see, the problem Nigeria currently
I
face.
don't necessarily see that as wrong, unless there's
No,
a
no,
law against it. Is
it is
there a law? Wait, is there a law in
no, no, no,
Nigeria? But wait, brother, listen,
no,
listen,
no, no.
and
See,
answer
see,
this.
see.
Is there a law in Nigeria specifically against exchanging money and assets in certain ways like that?
If you
Is
say
there? And
hold
and
on,
if there is a law, what's the name of the law?
hold on. If you said I need $100 to purchase what they call it, a laptop, and the $100 is provided to you, and you end up not purchasing that laptop, what's that? Is that not corruption? Is that not what we are discussing, that corruption is bad?
It depends on if there's a law against that practice. Is the point I'm trying to make. Nigeria first, and if there is no law, if they don't like what he did, and there's no law against it, they're gonna have to go and make a law. They're gonna have to go and pass a law to prevent that type of thing in the future. But if
Thank
there's
you.
no law,
Oh,
if you cannot name me a specific law,
okay, hold on, hold on.
okay,
Hold on, hold
that
on.
goes against what he was doing, then I don't see how then it's not illegal. It's not going to hold up in a
Okay, let
court,
me
because
tell you why it was bad.
in a
That,
court,
hold
they
on.
have to actually prove that you broke a law.
That
That has
behavior,
to be on
hold on,
a law
hold on.
on the book that you broke
It has not,
in
see,
order
it's
for
not
them
bad. Hold
to
on.
convict you. And
That
you're not telling me about any laws or
Okay,
anything
hold
like
on,
that.
hold on.
So
Let me
I'm gonna
explain to
say
you.
that
Let me
there
tell you
isn't.
why it. Hold on. Let me tell you
No.
why it is bad. That behavior is the reason
I
why
don't
Nigeria.
care if it's bad or not. I want to know, is there a law against it? That's what I'm asking you. What's the law is against it? Can you name the law?
You are not interested in the. See, continue with your. If you want to keep on talking, go ahead. You understand? I don't think you want to
No,
learn or anything.
I just want you to give me a law
Okay,
about what
hold on,
this
hold
dude
on.
did, and if there's no
Let me
law,
explain. Listen, if
then there's
hold
no
on, let me explain
case.
to you more. He was not the only one that did it.
I
Almost
didn't
all the.
ask about all the other
Hold
people
on.
that
Let me
did
tell.
it.
Hold on. See.
I'm asking you, where is the
Oh,
law
oh,
against
can you
what he
see?
did?
Do you want to see? Do you want to speak for yourself, or do you want other people to answer you?
I'm just
If you want,
answering you a question. That's all. I'm just asking
listen.
you
I
to
don't want to
answer a
see.
question.
Allow me to learn first. You understand me? Give me like at least 2 minutes. I will get there. See, that behavior is what put the Nigeria economy at the current stage. But thank God, the current president came in and observed it was like a total corruption. He decided to just unify the currency and make it one exchange rate without having the black market that a lot of people were making cheap, like making a cheap profit from. So that was, I think, it is over now. It is over. So that policy has been cancelled, and I think it was the best thing the current president did. That and the fuel subsidy was removed, and it was a great policy, because a lot of people call themselves manufacturer. They would take money and end up not buying the things they said they need for the economy to grow, to employ people. So the economy currently facing a hard time. These people were the part of the people that contribute the old chaos. If you say you're a manufacturer, you need $10 million, $20 million, even $100 million. and the money is given to you, you should go out there and purchase the equipment or whatever you said you need, instead of, you take the money is given to you, you bring the money, find a way to bring the money back, and you go to the black market and exchange the money. Then you just make 100% profit without doing anything.
Okay, first of all, businesses do that all the time. Okay, it's not illegal to exchange money on the market for money from another country or for whatever reason. You know what I mean? That's not illegal. There's no law against that. If you want, if you don't like it, like I said, if they don't like it, they're gonna have to make a law against it. They're gonna have to say, well, this guy did this, so we're gonna pass this law, and so he
But
can't
what,
do it in the future.
but even
That's
if they didn't, see, the law was that if you need for the Nigeria law was that as a business person, as a manufacturer, if you need anything, like you want to buy any equipment like airplane or aircraft parts or like engine and all that, you go to the CBN and you present them an invoice of what you are about to procure, and they made the money available for you. At least you should do what you said you wanted to do if you actually about growing the economy of the country and employ a lot of people. As we speak right now, how many people? Because you see, let me tell you why I said it is bad. As we speak right now, how many people can take a local flight right now? There are few. It is because things are hard. You understand me? That's why I said whatever they did, they actually have like it end up affecting everybody, including themselves.
like I said, you took this on a tangent and had nothing to do. I'm talking about. I said, show me a, and you still
No,
didn't
no,
prove
see,
me.
but the law.
Show me
Hold
that
on.
he
Let me
broke any
see, see.
broke any law.
They
He
are.
all he did was exchange money and went and
Yes.
bought
See,
equipment.
but you know what the government
And
did now? The
then there's
government
nothing in the
discovered.
law that says you can't exchange money for or exchange Nigerian currency for another currency
No, no,
or
no, no, no.
exchange it with
See,
another
oh God.
individual or anything like you. You're calling it the black market,
No, no. See,
but I don't know if
okay,
it's the black
okay,
market or not.
okay.
I don't, you
Let
know.
me hold on. Let me explain to you since you didn't get it. In Nigeria,
I mean,
like
you kind of you
no,
went on enough. You went on
hold on. Let
long
me
enough.
hold
I
on.
mean, I
Give me
let you
time.
go on.
There are
I
hold
let you
on
speak,
before. Okay,
and
hold
I
on. Let
don't
me
think
explain.
it's
Do
you got to
you
keep
hold
going
on? See,
on.
you are not.
I don't
See,
think
you
you
are
got to
not.
keep
Hold
talking.
on. Hold on. You are not in
I mean,
Nigeria.
man,
That is
maybe you don't
you
like what he
understand me?
did or whatever, but there needs to be a law against it in order for them to do
But
anything
guess
about it.
what? It is over now. Yeah, like the government have done the real thing whereby unifying the currency. There's no more black market now. It's cancelled. Whatever the black market price is, that's what the government price is. So I think it was the best move by the government because
Okay.
people were taking advantage of the policy. It was a, they were doing it to actually help the private sector, but the private sector decided to take advantage on it and destroy the whole thing.
Okay. Yeah, I feel you. I understand. Okay. You know.
Other people can also speak. Where's K? Where's
Yeah.
Dante? Dante?
But are you there, Kaizo?
No, I'm not here.
Okay.
Wait, Kaizo, are you there?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Kaizo.
I'm here.
I
Okay.
think Kaizo is not there.
Okay, Kaizo. When are you going to do a show on the failure of the Africa citizens? Yes, we have already stated the failure of the government. We get it. Okay, the government has failed. What about the citizens? Me and you. When are we going to
Hmm.
discuss and put ourselves on the nail or put our toe on fire? Because Africa is not.
Yeah.
Let me be honest. Africa is where it is today is because of me and you also. I
Hmm.
show you the issue of electricity in Nigeria. I show you what people pay. You were surprised. So
Mhm.
people want everything for free. How can a continent grow like that if everybody just want everything for free,
Not possible.
everything subsidized? Who is going to? No country can survive on that. If you want real
Mhm.
growth, we need to pay what things are worth, because some of
I
these
agree.
products are international products. For example, fuel. You understand? These are
Mhm.
like like a worldwide commodity whereby it is the same price. Then gas the same
Mhm.
thing, energy the same thing, and all these things are not cheap. They are expensive.
Mhm.
Also, for you to build all this infrastructure, they are capital intensive. So every some of us just want, oh, we want a secure country. We want 24 hours electricity. I keep asking many people, they don't give me answer. Are we willing to pay for it? But no one will give you the answer. They want all these things, but tell them, okay, are you going to pay for it? Everyone,
Mhm.
everyone will keep quiet. These things are not for free. Gazdamock was complaining about agriculture earlier. Do you want? I keep asking people, do we want what they call it, capitalism, or we want socialism? Do you want the government to involve in agricultural sector, like let them go to the farm and start farming, or you want private citizen, me and you, to handle that aspect of the economy? I don't understand. I, if we want socialism, let's just be bold enough to say that we want socialism. We want government to operate everything, and
I mean,
if
is
that
that what you want, or
no, that's not what I want, because I know it's not a. I want
because
us
I
to.
don't think it's gonna work in Nigeria? Because Nigerians, they're pretty, business minded people for
No,
the
no, no.
most
That's
part. I don't
no,
I
no,
don't
no,
think
no,
they
no.
want government
See,
control of industries at all.
no, because when people complain here, they complain about the food price. They complain about uh, uh, every other thing. But guess what? Any country you go to, you don't find government who are capitalist system. You don't find government doing all these things. It is citizen, individual organization that do this thing. Business people. Is it farming, commercial? Then go commercial. And the funny thing about one thing, we go to Nigeria, many of the food many people consume has nothing to do with except rice, really. And in Nigeria, we also produce rice. At least 50% or 40% is produced locally. So many things people consume really are locally produced, with except maybe importation of cars, generator, TV, smartphone. Yes, but when it comes to food, is it gari? Is it egusi? Is it goat? Is it chicken? Is it fish? Our this thing. Our this thing, our sea, we have not even tapped it. All the fish there are just there. Sometimes we heard the foreigner like China will bring their boat and come to our this thing and steal some of our fish and all that, because no one is willing to do all those things. Go the Gulf of Guinea and all those things, you will find Nigeria fishermen there. They are not there. It is foreigners that are bringing their boat far away from Asia or wherever and doing all the fishing and taking it away. Everyone is just sitting and waiting. Guess what? Dangote mentioned issue about steel. There are wealthy Nigerians, so they are there. Guess what? Immediately he he proceed and start building a steel and join the steel this thing. Everyone will start complaining. Oh, he has he will monopolize everything. What were you doing since? Eh? Everyone is just waiting, waiting, and just complain. All I hear is just complain. Do it now. Dangote is not there yet. Do it. Take over that sector. Let's see. But no, everyone is just waiting. But then when he make the move and take the risk, everyone start complaining. Kaiser, so what when are you going to do that show? Because I want to be present when you organize that show of our own responsibility as citizen of Africa. Because if you look at America, uh,
Hmm.
what they call it, Elon Musk, uh, he was the one who created that company. It was not the U.S. government that created that company for him.
True. That's
So
true.
yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Is it Jeff Bezos, Amazon, is Walmart, what if Ford? Are they government owned? The answer is no. These are private.
Here's the problem with Africans, right? We love to put the horse before the cart. I mean, sorry, the cart before the horse, right? Like we out there thinking that, oh, the cart matters more than the horse. No, the horse has to be there front. Then you put the cart, right? The cart in here is analogy of the government support. The government is not going to support some random dusty in the basement talking about how America is great. No, those niggas don't go far. You have to go build an industry, and then the government will back you up. And I think that's the
Thank
issue with Africa,
you.
right?
Thank
You
you.
need to go out and do real shit.
Yeah, but what about Ethiopia when they got bro Robert Johnson? They just the niggas was desperate. They saw he could fly planes. He wasn't rich like that. He just learned how to fly planes and do stuff. Y'all could at least go find the talented people and at least try to get them to come back. But I don't even do that.
Yeah, but he helped set up Black Africa's most successful airline. Right now,
Yeah, but
Ethiopian
he
Airlines is
wasn't just rich like that. Though. You make it seem like you got to be a balling ass person to come over there and make some shit change in Africa, which we clearly
okay.
see
So
you don't.
Give me like 10 minutes. They did toilet. When I finish, I will call you back. My phone data
Well,
is
you need
yeah.
to understand that was a different time. Like the Ethiopian Airlines thing, that happened in a different period, a different time. I mean, Air Peace, that's why I was talking about Air Peace. Air Peace is like the modern, and then easy, Ethiopian Airlines I think it's owned a lot of Arabs and stuff have like a lot of stake in the ownership of it. So, it's in Ethiopia. But Air Peace is an example of a like large, successful, black owned like airline. Like that's what makes it amazing. And the fact that he's as big as he is, I think he has about 50, 55 plus planes. Probably in another 5 years, he'll have over 100 planes. You know what I mean? And you're talking about a black
Isn't he
company with
being investigated by the American government for
yeah, and
fraud?
I talked about that. Yeah, I talked about that before. And I said, if you throwing that kind of
So is he
money around,
fraudulent or is he not?
brother, hold on. If you throwing that kind of money around in America and you competing with these white boys like that, of course they gonna investigate you. Of
Nah,
course,
that's conspiracy theory,
if you
man.
don't,
You're a
and it's not
conspiracy
conspiracy
theorist.
theory. Here's the thing, if you and I said when you interact with these large Western societies, America, Great Britain, and they have an issue in air peace. They have a issue in Great Britain too. They won't let them land in London. Like when they brought the 777s, so that they can do the international flights and stuff. They didn't let them. The first time they landed in London, some inspectors from the Heathrow Airport got on the plane, and they criticized and they said that I think their flight book or like their log book, it was stored under the captain's seat, and they said it was their regulation to have it be stored behind the captain's seat instead of under it. So they actually issued a decree, and they said, okay, Air Peace, you can't land at London Heathrow anymore. They wouldn't even sell him the gate space. He has the money for the gate space. Okay, he got plenty of money for the gate space and stuff. They won't sell him the gate space. They told Air Peace, hey, when y'all fly to the UK, you got to land at Gatwick. That's like the small airport that's in the suburbs of London.
Man, you sound
But
like a
they but
conspiracy theorist,
but
man.
they but they
Business is
can't
business.
land. So but they
You're
can't
a
land.
conspiracy theorist.
They can't.
Stop,
No, this
stop,
is
stop
all
spreading
documented.
rumors, man.
This is all documented. They can't land in London Heathrow because they don't want him to take advantage of how profitable it is, to land at that airport. So that's what I mean is that they will play economic warfare with you when you get to a certain level. They're not just gonna
So
let
you
you come
saying are
in.
you saying that the people in London don't want his money? They're so racist they won't take
No,
his
what it
money.
is, here's the thing. Is what it is that when he needs to understand with these Nigerians, I love Nigerians. Okay, they're business minded. I love the way they think. I really do. But what Nigerians need to understand is that when you doing business with Arabs, when you doing business, it don't matter who the hell it is. You doing business with the Arabs, you doing business with the white boys, you doing business with whoever it is. You have to have a legal game. You have to
Wait,
understand the
one second.
laws because
Dama,
when they try to come at you, when they try to investigate you or whatever, or you may do something completely unintentionally. You might not even know that there's a law against a certain thing, and then you'll do that certain thing, and then now that you got an investigation, well, you need to have a legal game on deck that can fight that. That's all I was saying.
yeah,
And what it is
one
the
second, brother.
Nigerians,
You
they
do realize,
got the money, but they don't look at the legal part. That hey, you flying 777 Boeing 777 airplanes into London, a black a black company. They got those Nigerian pilots stepping off that plane. Those beautiful, you know, air peace stewardesses. They stepping off that plane. What image does that
No,
put to the
all
to
right,
the world?
Ranta,
so
What
just
what what
one second,
image
no,
brother.
just
what
settle
image
down.
does that put to the world?
You made the
One
point. Let
second,
somebody
Dama.
else speak.
Yeah, Dama, one second. I'm just
And you know,
Dama, one second.
and so he needs to be able. He's built
You
something
made
great,
the point. You
but
made
he
the
needs to be
point.
able to protect what he's
Can you
built.
even
That's
hear
all I
anyone?
was saying. But go ahead, bro.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Dama, here's the thing, though, right? There's a couple mistakes you're making. Gatwick is owned by a Nigerian. You know that, right?
It don't matter if it's owned by
It
Nigeria or not.
matters.
What I
One second.
know is
Bro,
that
bro,
the most profitable airport to land at is and where all the passengers want to go to is London, and they deprived him of that.
right.
That's the point I'm
No,
trying to
hang on.
make.
No. That's my point, though. Look, listen. London Airport Gatwick is owned by a Nigerian. That's my point. He does own Adebayo Ogulensi. He owns Gatwick. He owns Edinburgh as well, right? Actually, he owns three airports in the UK. Now, the biggest airport in the UK is called London Heathrow, right? He doesn't own that one. He owns shares, right? But you know, this one he actually owns a lot of the significant shares, right? So he wasn't being denied. They were just rerouting shit, right? Because he does own Gatwick. Gatwick is his airport, and it is in London.
Yeah. Can I come in a
SK
little bit, Kaiser?
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Are you talking about airpiece?
Yes,
Right.
or
Look, the thing is, the Lagos London route is one of the most lucrative routes that are in international flights. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is that route has been exclusively run by both the Emirate Airline and Airways for years and years. So that's the second point. And then the
exactly my point.
and then the,
They don't want you competing with them getting that money.
right.
That's what it's all about.
And then the third point is there seems to be like a price fixing cartel, a price fixing arrangement between British Airways and Emirates to completely gouge that market because Nigerians are very lost travelers and they will travel at any expense. So they've been gouging that space all the way through. So now this guy now secures a route to this is Airpeace. He secures a route to London, and then he crashes the price by 60%. So now the fight back has to be then they have to frustrate him out of that route because it's the route really that sustains a lot of these airlines. It's probably guessing at it maybe 20% of their bottom line. So that's where his fight is. So
Exactly.
the Nigerian government is
Are
giving
you
him
guys
money.
gonna deny that this person, his administration, his chief of staff, whatever, his CEO, his co-CEO, whatever that person was, him, Onyema, and the other person were all accused of money laundering over $20 million. They provided fake documents to buy 5 Boeing jets in the U.S. Are you guys going to deny the accusations that are against them? Are you trying to say it's a global conspiracy from London all the way to the U.S. just to stop air peace? Is that what you gentlemen are saying?
No, but that's not what we're saying. We're talking about the Lagos London route. So his allegations in the United States is a separate and distinct thing. Yeah, but the Lagos London route is having to battle the traditional airlines holding that spaces for years and decades, and it's being backed by the Nigerian government in that fight.
Well, Ndoma Cattle was saying something different. He's saying that there's economic warfare and there's a conspiracy to stop air peace.
Yeah, no, that's correct. Yes,
I think
that is correct too.
I think he just everything that he pointed out about how how the it's the and remember I told you I said it was who was it? It was the white boys and it was the Arabs. Okay, it was British Airways, United Arab Emirates. Okay, that is their most lucrative route. And what it is, he's competing with them. Big money. You competing with these other groups of men on a national scale. Big money. So yes, it's a conspiracy and they don't know this, but United Arab Emirates is owned by I think he's like a British or Australian. It's a white guy that's like the CEO of United Arab Emirates. So they make it look like it's a big Arab company and it's owned. It's what I mean. It's just a private company. It's like any other private company, and the CEO is a white boy. So all these white boys at these companies, they all are linked with each other, and they say, "Oh, you think you gonna fly triples? Oh, Air Peace. You think you gonna fly 777s into London Heathrow? Oh no, you're not.
These
Okay,
are racist
let's
conspiracy
let
theories.
this let's get those inspectors on that plane and have them
These are
snooping
racist
around that plane.
conspiracy theories. Kaiser, I'm surprised you're allowing these
No, this is
racist
this is
conspiracy theories.
documented. This is documented. It's not racist. It's all documented.
Sorry, which part of it are you disputing? Gas them up.
Ndoma
He's not
Cattle,
disputing
Ndoma,
anything. He's
Hold
just
on,
being
hold on.
Ndoma Cattle,
contrary.
Rancha, you have to let other
Ndoma,
people.
Okay, go ahead. Wait, I'll be right back. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
No, go ahead.
I was simply mentioning Ndoma Cattle, his in his earlier statements before you came on to talk about air peace. One man, Ndoma was basically saying that there is economic warfare, and I said, is air peace not being investigated by the United States? And he said, oh, if you think those white boys won't use legal entrapments and legal maneuverings to stop you from competing, okay, I guess it's funny.
Yeah,
All
but
right,
see,
I'll
here's
stop
the
talking. Go
thing.
ahead.
Look what they did to Donald Trump. Okay, white boys will do that to other white boys too. They're not
But
just doing that to Air Peace because it's a black Nigerian company. White boys do that shit to each
no,
other all the time.
you guys forget one issue. The reason why London Land Nigeria Airlines, you know why? Because they don't last long. They have bad service. They're crap. They're bad service. That's the reason they don't last long. That's a fact. That's what the Nigerian Airlines suck. That bad service. That's the reason why. That's the fact. That's the reason why they don't allow them flying to London because they don't last long. In 2 years, fact. Nigeria, even Nigeria consider to ourselves. We suck when it comes to airline business. We suck. It's a fact.
Ndoma, somebody's throwing insults at you in the comments at Chuku. Look at what he said about you. So I guess you left.
The thing is that uh, uh, some of our people don't know how to run business. For example, the problem airpiece has is that they don't take customer service serious. Even when customer complain, they don't respond on time. So that is the reason why most local airline in Nigeria normally fail because they fail to listen to the customer and take customer service serious.
Yeah.
They feel they are doing you a favor when
But
you are the one paying to keep the company alive. It's crazy.
but
If
with
they are
Nigeria,
able to get
It's
their
a it's
customer service right, I promise all these airline and the rest local airline will blow up.
but but Nigeria, but
it is one of the worst airlines out there, Airpeace. The only thing that keeps it going is patriotism. You know, Nigerians they're quite it's insistent that they have a carrier in that international route, or route as you call
Why
it in
would you
America.
say Air Peace is one of the worst airlines? Are they consistently rated low? Is that your opinion, or is that based on ratings?
That's the customer review. Or if you go on YouTube, check all the customer reviews. They all rate them very. It's a terrible experience. That's the feedback that a
you,
lot
you
of users are
you see,
giving.
Nigeria means that Nigeria is smart. Ethiopian airline should have created our own airline for us. Nigeria made a big mistake for denying Ethiopian airline to help us. Big mistake. Now you're shocked. We usually like Ethiopian create their own airline.
It's not that.
Why
You see, the thing is that Nigeria businessmen, they don't respect their customer, and that is their own failure. Even the banks, the airline, name all of them, they have no respect for their own for their
What of
customer.
Dangote and Bua? Do you
They,
think Dangote and
yeah,
Bua provide good customer service?
no, they don't, including them also. They don't. So that's why I said
Why do you say
Nigeria.
that? What's wrong with Dangote and Bua? What's wrong with their customer service?
For example, Dangote, for
It doesn't
example,
exist, is what what's wrong with it.
it doesn't. Thank you. It doesn't exist.
You know,
Who
in
are you
the
to
hospital.
complain?
Sorry, Nigerian first. You know, in the hospitality industry in Nigeria, at the top end, they always import Kenyan managers to come and oversight big hotels in Nigeria, because we're so terrible at hospitality, customer service, and all of those stuff. So
but
things.
Is that intrinsic to Nigeria and
Mhm. No,
Nigerians,
it's
or is
true.
that
It's a Nigerian issue.
wait?
I got some up. I
No,
remember.
if they're
Yeah.
I
bringing in
worked.
Kenyans who are
I
Africans,
worked.
then yeah.
I worked for a Nigerian restaurant once, right, in the UK when I was in Swansea, right, before I moved back to London. And guess what? The Nigerian women who work there are just rude. When they see another African brother, they just don't even give them respect. They don't go around there even serving them. Just like they just look at you. Then they think you're their friend, right? And they don't give you service.
uh,
As
uh,
Kenyans, we're learning how to do business like Dwight, man, and we actually give you service. This is a good point.
Is that intrinsic to the Nigerian identity, or is that a lack of training? So, for example, the Chinese are known and the Indians are known to be, whoever that is, please mute your mic. They're known to be very forthright and very, very curt, if that's the term, in business, in dealings. They're very, very straightforward.
but
But is this indicative of just the Nigerian, we're just useless at customer service, or is it because we don't have a culture in which customer
but
service is part of the training for corporations?
guys,
Well, if it's a training issue, then they won't be importing Kenyans, would they? There's a fundamental arrogance to the Nigerian
but
person. Yeah.
one let me ask you a question. How is Ethiopian airline doing so good? What are Ethiopians doing that Ethiopian airline they have good company? Why doing so good? Let's go to everyone. Why is Ethiopian airline doing so good in Africa, man? There must be reason for that. Wh- Can you
Because
answer
they
that?
actually respect customer service. They take
Yeah,
customer service
that's what
serious.
I'm saying.
Just to that little anecdote by Kaizo. You know, I used to frequent Nigerian restaurants here in London. When I used to live in London, I'm in Kent now. You go in, and then you sit for a good half an hour, 40 minutes. So nobody even attends to you to come and offer you a drink, and then take your order. Or even when they take the order, they don't even think to ask you if you want a drink. And then when they take that drink order, it's a good 10-15 minutes just to bring it. They're just terrible. You know, it's just an awful experience, the Nigerian customer service experience.
Okay, let's say I agree, which I do agree. My question is, for example, I was fortunate enough to be in Abuja at one point, where I was helping a business. They're a fairly large organization, so they were in fast moving consumer goods. So there was little. They sold bread. kind of like a small, in America, store would be like Target. They're quite large, but not the size of an average Target, but they were large enough. They had enough products that they sold. And I was brought in to help with the management. And so I got in there, and the first thing I did was say, hey, listen, I noticed that the Nigerian workers, because you have to take care of your shelves, a lot of times you don't want expired products on the shelves. But what I realized is that a lot of the workers were just using that as an excuse to not deal with customers at all. And so the first thing I implemented, I said, listen, we're going to have weekly customer service videos and training. And second of all, your shelf is not a top priority. The shelves have to be taken care of by the evening, well, not the evening, by the morning shift where it's less busy. They're the ones in charge of the shelves. And so the afternoon and the evening shift, you guys, your number one priority when a customer walks in is to greet them, show them where the shopping cart is, ask them would they like to be escorted around. And I kid you not, I was working in that location for some time. We did some good business, but there was a woman. Ironically, I don't know if she was from Kenya or she was from another part of Africa. And so when I was working with the one of the workers and showing them around with this lady, she said, "Where are you from?" And I said, Nigeria. She says, "No, no, no. Where are you from?" And I said, "Well, I travel out and I do business." She said, "Of course, because I've been in Nigeria all these years and I've never got customer service like this." So my point is that it can be done, but I think it really, again, the responsibility of people at the
Yeah, but
top to
you
set
are
a standard.
describing. Hold on, you are describing a scenario where you are having to hold their hands. So what happens then when you're not there to hold their hands?
I
You know?
don't know. I agree with you right
Okay.
now because I'm not doing business with them. I hope they implemented and they kept doing the things that I put in place. But if they're not, that's not a failure of the people intrinsically. That's a failure of
But
the management to
but
continue the improvements. Because I kid you not, literally sales skyrocketed in the time that I was consulting with them. They had a boost in sales. And so what I'm saying is that these are simple things that if Nigerian
but
business people, men and women, take to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to make sure customer service is a priority and it's part of my training. If they do that, I guarantee they'll increase their sales. But they also,
but
like you said, they have to get past the stage of hand
but
holding and make it
well,
implemented across the board. And the last thing I'll say is this: that also means if Kaizo and one man come into my restaurant and you guys don't serve them in 40 minutes, yo, somebody's getting fired. I don't care if you're my auntie's best
it,
friend or my uncle's best cousin. You got to get fired. I can't keep bringing idiots into my establishment because I'm related to you or because you're my
it,
best friend from church or the mosque. No, dude. Kaizo needs to be served in 5 minutes when he
uh,
walks in. One man can't sit outside for an hour. This is bullshit. And they
and
know this, but the question is, are the businessmen and women of Nigeria ready to implement that? That's the
you
real
see,
question.
and another issue, if you do a business with your family, they'll cheat you. So many Nigerians help people, they don't care about you, they'll cheat you. If you do business with your
The,
own
the
family,
fact
they'll
the,
even
the
cheat you.
fact is the Nigerian worker is not trainable when it comes to customer service. You know,
You think so?
there's a certain chip on the Nigerian shoulder that doesn't want to, I don't know, for lack of a better word, subordinate himself
One
in
man, can
yeah.
you hear me?
Oh, Akim, yeah, let's hear from you.
Yeah, thank you very much. My network is not that good. I heard you guys talking about this customer service thing and airpiece because I flew airpiece I think a week ago today from Lagos to Benin, right? And at the local airport, right? There were three staff that were supposed to be attending to customers. I mean, broad daylight around 12, around 11 o'clock in the morning, and Lord behold, two of them were sleeping there out of three staff
Just imagine.
that was supposed to be attending to customers. Two of them sat there and they were
They were
sleeping.
sleeping.
Yeah, broad daylight in the airport. In the airport. I was like, what's going on here?
So my
This
question
is not
is
like someone
once
told me,
again.
I was there.
So let
This
me ask you.
happened to
Let me
me.
ask you. I agree. So my question is, and it's for you guys on the panel, one man, Kaiser. Why do you think those people won't be fired because we all know you go to London Heathrow, you're sleeping on the job, you're fired. No one's gonna argue. They don't care if you're
You know
related
the
to.
one. You know
Why don't we do that?
listen. Listen. You even go to them for them to attend to you. They will wake up, direct you to the guy who is attending to everyone, and then go back to sleep. Like they will direct you to say no, go to him. Like
And they are
I'm
very
like what?
arrogant in their tone as
Ve-
well.
Very rude. One man. Very okay. Look, you even go to a restaurant, right? The way they even talk to you, what do you want? Like what? Like it's like I want to squeeze somebody's head. Like, it's like, oh, like
It's
what's wrong with these
unbelievable.
people?
It's,
Like what's wrong with
Nigerians
this?
don't know how
I
to
think
do customer service. It's just that
at
simple.
all at that look, hospitality. One man you said it zero. Like just a zero. If you if you are expecting some level of maybe you go to some hotels whereby the owners, maybe sometimes it could be new hotels or it could be new business, and they just want to make sure that they make money, they can put a bit of emphasis, but after a while
But
forget it, it's gone.
but Hakeem, that's your name, right, Hakeem?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hakeem. But I agree with you. Yes, but I've seen it. I've ran an institution. I was brought in as a consultant, and they paid me to help this business, and we had customer service. Everybody, the sales increased. Now, again, I don't know if they're still doing it. The last time I went to Abuja, I don't know if that, I haven't been there, but because that was around 2019, 2020, right before COVID, actually. So I don't know if they're still doing it. But my point is that I saw it done. I implemented it and I took a zero tolerance part. I told the owner, I said, listen, if you're gonna bring me in, you have to follow everything I say. I'm not gonna accept, oh, my friend, if they're doing wrong, I'm gonna be on their ass. Like they won't like me. Oh, the Americana guy has come. Too bad. Kiss my ass. You're gonna do the right
No,
thing. And it was
see,
a zero tolerance policy.
that's because you've been out, you've learned. Like a lot of these people, they get they don't even get trained, they just employ them. So do this, that's all. Like even the companies don't. I'm not even sure APC is investing in training their staff when it comes to how to deal with customer, how to handle customer. Because if not, they have to have a supervisor there at the airport. If like it's almost like unbelievable that people were sleeping like broad daylight on duty with their airpiece uniform on. Like it doesn't make sense. Like you have to have a supervisor right there on ground.
Uh, yeah, and the sad part, when they know that you're from abroad, they'll cheat you. When they know that you're from abroad, they'll cheat you. When they know you're from abroad, they're trying to find a way to cheat you and steal your money. Even your own family members will cheat you. That's the sad part of Nigeria. Even your own family member will cheat you in business. That's the sad part of Nigeria.
No, no. What they normally do is that when they know you are from abroad, they kind of behave differently. So in most cases, when I'm here, they say, "Oh, do you have your ID, please?" I just give them my Irish passport, and then most time you see their attitude will change a little bit. Their attitude will change a little bit. So that's the only thing. Apart from that, trust me, no, this guy, they are super rude, man. Like so, the tone, like come on, man, is
But that's what I'm
discouraging.
saying. I agree. I agree. I saw the workers. Like I said, they would hide. I said, "What are you doing?" Oh, okay, I'm cleaning my shelf. And I don't give a damn about the shelf. You got to get out there and deal with customers, right? And I was on top of them. And I'm sure they didn't like me. Some of the women wanted to try to flirt. I was like, "Look, I don't keep your vagina. I want this shit running smoothly. You can't flirt with me." So my question is it something that Nigerians, if you put policies in place where everybody is implementing it from the top to the down, where there's zero tolerance for BS, can that be done? Are you guys saying it's impossible that Nigerian customer service cannot exist where there's a
Listen,
zero tolerance for nonsense? Are you guys saying that?
Yeah, Gazam, I agree with zero tolerance. It can exist. People will change because if you make them understand that they are not
bro, did you not see when a minister tried to be strict
they are
with
not
workers,
helping
they
the
almost locked
customer.
him out of
They
his
are
own
doing their
office.
job. They should take their job serious. That's the reason why they are being paid. You are not there to sleep. The reason why they are able to do this, let me be honest with you. they kind of they know how to protect themselves. Whereby if one does something bad, none of the other staff will report that person because they know they will do the same tomorrow. So they kind of have this, kind of clique whereby they protect themselves.
And I just for those funny. Like, let's say you help one of them, don't be ungrateful to you. Don't think that you helped them when you was a little baby. Don't be ungrateful to you in the future. That's why, like, society is not worth helping them. They be ungrateful to you.
I think the attitude of the people, the mindset of the people, man. If I was God, I just get rid of every Nigerians and create new ones, man. Telling you, the, the mindset of Nigerians, man. Trust me, I don't think.
Sir, if
Look,
you if you if
this
you
guy,
did that, how do you think we'll have a country? Come on, if we got rid of that, come on, sir. We
yo,
have to.
yeah, I
We
just
can't.
create new ones. I just create new
Okay,
ones
wait. Let me
because
give you guys an
imagine,
example.
listen, guy, listen. Imagine a traffic light, right? Traffic light, right? Goes red, and everyone is driving past. Like, what's going on here? Just like, do you need to be told that you have to stop when it shows red? Like, everybody just carry on as if it's like. So what's the point of having a traffic light if people are not going to obey it? Like, how do you change people like that?
Well, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, I think the answer is very is not simple, but it's clear. Um, you change, for example, if you study the history of like New York City, right? New York City was one of the most, arguably probably one of the most corrupt places you'll ever see in the history of corruption, especially in its early stages. There was a guy named Boss Tweed, and as much as we can think of any corrupt Nigerian leader, remember the former IG of police, that one that got arrested by FCC. Remember then you had to build him a house. You had to have two houses in each state, the IG of police before the FCC arrested him, right? That guy is small time compared to how corrupt people like Boss Tweed were. Boss Tweed is famous for saying, I can always hire one half of the poor people to beat the shit out of the other half of the poor people. But with reforms, you had state institutions and zero tolerance policy reforms that were implemented. You look at Chicago, for example, another corrupt place. They had Al Capone. Al Capone with the Valentine's Day massacre, St. Valentine's Day massacre. They didn't prosecute Al Capone because of the people he killed. They prosecuted Al Capone because he didn't pay his taxes to the IRS, right? So the point is that they took a zero tolerance policy when they started to make reforms because they knew that in the long run this is going to benefit all of American citizens, and more importantly, corruption has to become more streamlined. It has to be more built into the system. So is there corruption in the United States? Of course. You go to the Department of Defense and look at all those contracts and all those government handouts that they're giving some of these defense contractors and some of these whoever and whatever. There's corruption there, but it's streamlined into the system. It's done through the use of
Oh,
charity and 501c3bs or whatever you call them, for 503bs, whatever you call those charity designations. So I'm saying that if we want things to change in Nigeria, we have to demand that Nigeria become more streamlined in their corruption. So that means when you are tasked to build a road or you're tasked to do this, you must build the road. Now, if you use your friends to build the road, that's okay, but they must do a good job. If you don't, you go to prison. Plain and simple. If people die, you are held liable. Plain and simple. You'll be sued. We have to, no one can be above board. I mean, look, Donald Trump is president now, but he was still, to show you how America is, as much as he was a former president, he's now going to be the current president coming in January. They still arrested the guy and took him and took his prison jail arraignment picture. They still did that to him, which of course might not have been the best thing, but my point is that no one is above the law. The law stands as a machine, as an animal of its own that cannot be played with and tampered with. So I'm saying that Nigeria, we have to enforce strict laws, and it starts not with the people on the bottom, it starts with the people at the top. The problem of Nigeria,
oh
you go
no,
for, I'll
oh
give you
no,
guys
no,
a
no, no, no,
let,
no.
let
Oh no,
yeah, go
no.
ahead.
Listen, Nigeria. I think Nigeria one should start with people from the bottom. I'm telling you now.
Okay.
The people mind is so corrupt. Not just
Yes.
financial corruption, not just financial corruption, attitudinal corruption. Like it's almost like they
But
an
where do
average.
they learn it from? But where are they learning this? See, let me give you an
Look,
example. We look at a small local government chairman or any alaye that's there, right? We say, they're chiefs, they're this, they're this. They're learning it from their governors and their presidents and their senators.
no,
They're
no,
learning them. So
look, see,
I cannot tell a local government chairman not to steal money when his governor, when his senator, when his House of Rep, they are all thieving money. When the palm secretary are all thieving money, it's
They are
impossible.
learning
So
it
what
from
I'm
the.
saying is
They are
they're learning
learning it.
from the top.
I'm not look, I'm no
So
brother,
so so what
I'm
I'm
not
saying,
even
my brother,
talking,
is
I'm not
yeah,
even
go ahead.
talking about I'm not even talking about I'm talking about a situation whereby say, okay, a governor come in now in the state, right? And he said, okay, I want to be strict, I want to enforce the rules. Guess what? They start to threaten him with elections. Oh no, we're not going to vote. Look, you have vehicles on the road, practically no backlight, no brake light, no light at all, nothing on it. You have vehicles on the road driving, no headlight at night, and then they are going like that. Like I said to a friend of mine, I said, look, get elected as a governor in this place, I'm sure I will not get a second term because it's almost impossible
But
for me to turn a blind eye.
but sir, again, I agree with you. But is that as a result of, see, for example, road safety? When go and LASMA are not using the road to protect lives. They are using the road to supplement their bullshit salary. When you have a government at the top that says to themselves, it's much easier for us to steal money and hide the money than pay a salary that is livable. Because think about it, if your police have a decent salary, if your LASMA have a decent salary, now they can afford to enforce the law. You cannot just give the local police 50 naira and say, come on for there. And the guy say, okay, you give me small Roger, I'm happy. No, if this guy is getting a pension, getting a salary, a livable salary that he can feed his family, feed his children, now he has no excuse for corruption. So when we catch him being
But
corrupt, straight to prison. He's robbed of his responsibility because to have that kind of power is
yeah,
a
but
responsibility. So what I'm saying is that
this is the
Nigeria.
problem now. It doesn't matter.
Okay, go ahead.
It doesn't matter. I've come to a conclusion that if it doesn't matter how much you pay these people, man. One, they will get that money. Two, power is has already gone into their head. They will still violate this. Look, I'm telling you, even like me on my own, I get fed up when I see these things. I get fed up when I see these things. Like it's almost like I'm asking, yo, what's up with this? Oh, they say, oh, no, 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 no. This is Nigeria. This is how we do it here. This is how you do it here. Like, come on, man. This is why you see some Nigerians when they come to the Western world, they almost kind of freeze. They cannot function because it's almost like a situation. You see people driving with alcohol, a bus driver driving with weed, smoking weed in the bus, right? With passengers inside that bus. What has government got to do with that?
Look, even the Imo State government, use the government, he buy a expensive watch where people are suffering. Stupid ass Imo government. Some of the Saudi have stupid ass government in Saudi. They're all stupid. They don't care about the people. They buy expensive watch and you people are dying. I think governments are the part of Nigeria. The governments are the part of Nigeria. They hold Nigeria down. The governments are the part of Nigeria. They're the problem. They're holding Nigeria down. The governors of
No,
Nigeria.
most Nigerians are dictator in waiting. They just give them power and see their behavior, or put them in any small position and see their behavior. Go to any government office. People who are in a small office, they want to do your document, see their behavior. They have no respect for anyone. So this idea that it's just the politician only, it's a lie. They are not up to
Yeah,
like 2,000. You put all of them together. So the major problem is even the people are even worse than the politician.
but people are only a reflection of the leadership, right? So once again, what I'm saying is that if the leadership have a zero tolerance for nonsense. Now you can start to discipline the people. The people will start to self-discipline because the people don't have. When you tell, okay, when we were growing up in Nigeria, what's the first thing we say? We say to serve Nigeria is not by force, right? That's the first thing we'll say. So when the people no longer have an excuse, because everyone is going to say, I cannot be good in Nigeria because my politicians are corrupt. They will always push the blame. But now, when your politicians and your systems are strong and are not and are avoiding the corruption, or the corruption is streamlined, now the people don't have that excuse anymore, because now it's like, oh, you cannot tell me, oh, and local government is stealing, because your roads are tarred, you have light at night, you have running water, you have clean running water, you have this, you have everything that you're supposed to have. So any other excuse of, oh, we don't have this is why we are corrupt, you can't give that excuse anymore. Now we'll jail you. Now we'll imprison you if you do it. But it has to start from the top. If it doesn't start from the top,
Uh,
the people, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to ask you a question. How do you establish those institutions without because if the people are because let me ask you this question first. Do you believe the people is corrupt or do you believe the government is corrupt more so?
I think it's a reflection. The people are only a reflection of the government that they have. For example, when Nigeria first started in 1960, when they got their own hands at government from the British, you didn't see Nigerian people stealing and living. Nigeria was a beautiful place to stay in the 1960s up until the Civil War. Nigeria had a running rail. They had water in most of the development, of course, was in Lagos and other parts, but the goal was to develop Lagos and spread that development to other regions. The Civil War really provided. You see, people don't study. For example, this idea, when people think of Nigerians, say, "Yo, they got money. They spray money at the parties." They don't even realize that's not traditional culture. No Nigerian in pre-colonial time was throwing money at people, or throwing calories on people. No, that came about after the Civil War, when all these military men, these soldiers, were taking, they would go, instead of them focusing on being soldiers, they were using that time to do Owambe, and they would take their money and start spraying. Go, guys, just go and research the history of spraying money in Nigeria. It came from after the Civil War. That's when they started that nonsense. So this is a reflection of the leadership at the top. Remember, some of these guys in the 70s and the 80s, what they would say, oh, Nigeria doesn't have a corruption problem, has a spending problem. They had so much money, they didn't know what to do with it. None of them were thinking long term. For example, recently we had Cameroon released their floodwaters, and it flooded parts of Nigeria, killed many people. The problem was, at that time in the 80s, Nigeria was supposed to build a bigger dam to receive that floodwater. The money was given. Up to now, nobody, they took the money, they ate it, nobody cared. Now those guys who stole that money in the 80s, they're dead and gone. Their kids are good. These other people sit down in their house in the village, they just wake up and the water floods their house, and they die, like, they die for no reason, all because of corruption from the 1980s. So this is what I'm saying. It's like it starts at the top. Like I gave the example, when I was brought in to do a consulting job with a large corporate, a large shop in Nigeria, I literally said, "Look, man, we're gonna focus on customer service. We're gonna have our manager meetings daily. We're gonna communicate. There has to be a manager's log, so I know how much fuel is left at the end of the day." These are common sense things, and the business was running smoothly and efficiently. So what I'm saying is that it can be done. Now I will tell you, they didn't like me. I had one guy try to sabotage. We had some products. He didn't like the fact that I came in there. This stupid Americana is coming in here trying to tell us what to do. They didn't like it. But fuck them. And the
But
only
that's
reason why
my
I was able
point
to
though.
do it, the only reason I was able to do it is because the owner gave me 100% control, and the owner stood by me. So the question I have with
You,
Nigerians is, are the owners of Nigeria going to
you,
stand by people who are going to come in and make these changes? That's the real problem.
you see,
But
most of the
that,
people are man-made.
hold let me. Can I
Nigeria,
say something real fast? Because I'm very disappointed. He didn't speak to me with the Niger accent. I want to hear him explain that to me in the Niger accent. But overall, he touched on my point. The people got mad that he was trying to implement change. Why would they be mad if they were a more, how you say, in tune with anti-corruption? they would have rejoiced at the fact, or anti more productivity, they would have rejoiced at the fact that we're trying to make implemented change in the business that will increase wealth and also increase wages. The fact that they were mad shows you that the people themselves get comfortable in the system that is already established because in many ways they feel like they can cut corners in that system. Some of the corruption start at the bottom with the people. The same way in Haiti, they do some of the same exact stuff where they undercut some of the institutions and they will steal electricity. You see what I'm saying? They would steal electricity. One person will pay for electricity. They'll steal that line and run it to multiple different houses. That can cause fires. That can cause that can productivity, damage of equipment, all that kind of stuff. But we don't think about that stuff. We think about just because the person is poor, he's a victim, which is very dangerous. That's what they are doing with that guy barbecue in Haiti. They're trying to paint him as a some kind of liberal saint, especially the white liberals of America. They're trying to pay him as in a positive view because he's a victim of corruption. When in reality, some of these people enjoy corruption, and they are sometimes
I
cutting
agree.
corners that's
I
creating more
agree.
corruption.
But my brother, listen, I agree, right? But at the same time, if heaven forbid someone we know is choking on a chicken bone, I'm not gonna put a band-aid on their forehead. I have to get to the root of the cause, right? I have to remove the obstruction in their airway. And the root of Haiti, Nigeria, the root that's causing our obstruction in our airway is our elite class. See, when we talk about power, you're going to make decisions and you're going to have to do things that a lot of the people, if they're used to a certain way, they're not going to like. When Japan, let me give you guys a perfect example. When Japan decided the Meiji Restoration and the Tokugawa, I believe, peasants, when they had to embrace mercantilism, that was an affront to the samurai class because in old Japan, if you were a peasant, a samurai could come chop your head off, sleep with your wife.
He had
Hello?
You breaking
You
up?
guys hear
I'm
me?
here.
Yeah. Sorry
Yeah,
about
I'm here.
that.
I'm here.
So in old Japan, a samurai could come through, chop off your head, do whatever he wanted, and get away with it, and nobody would say anything. But when they realized, hey, listen, in order for us to industrialize and make moves to a brand new Japan that's going to make us strong enough so that we can beat Russia in a war, so that the rest of
noticed
you guys
You
hear me
breaking
now?
up? You breaking up?
You're breaking up, breaking
Yeah.
Yeah.
up.
Sorry, some people keep the world could take notice. What they had to do is they now said, "Yo, samurai class, y'all, in the old days, y'all had the way to chop off people's heads and sleep with people's wives. We can't move forward like that anymore." The samurai weren't happy. You guys saw the movie. Of course, they made the superhero white boy movie with Tom Hanks, and they made that bullshit about the Last Samurai and all that nonsense. But they were actually saying, no, we got to change this. And the samurai had no choice. They didn't like it. They resisted it. But what was good for Japan was a change. So now these former peasants now became powerful people in terms of mercantilism and embracing the new land reform. So what I'm saying is the leaders in Nigeria have to make a decision to say, look, you know what? We are going to do what we got to do. The local people who like corruption, they're not going to like it. But to hell with them. And since we have the power, we're going to have to fight them. That dude who tried to sabotage me when I came in to make changes, I got rid of him. I told the lady, I said, look, this guy's sabotaging. And guess what? That was her friend's nephew or some shit like that. I said, you got it, me or him. I'm not going to deal with sabotage. I'm not dealing with it. You already paid me, so let me do my job. They got rid of him. That was a tough decision. It's like, people, you got to cut the cancer.
Uh,
And when they got rid of him, things went smooth. So what I'm saying is the power of Nigeria, the power of Haiti, they got to make the right decisions. And that means eventually they're going to have to get rid of a barbecue. They're going to have to get rid of the local people who've already had, benefits from corruption. And they're going to tell them either you get with the program or we get rid of you. But if we don't do that, the people at the bottom don't wield official power. That's what I'm trying to say.
And also, please look, the reason why the reason not Nigeria so high poverty, why the other party love the other party to make their own people poor. So to use it for election. That's what the North has had problems. You know why? The elite in the North don't care about the people. Don't care about their own people. The elite Nigerians care. The elite in Nigeria, they want their own people to be bar of them, below them, so you use them like babies for election day. That's what they do in Nigeria. The elites, they don't care. They use the massive for like a tool in election. They use a massive. That's the reason why they don't have North Nigeria have high power. You know the reason why? 'Cause the elites there don't care about the people. They use them for tools. They give them weapons. Use them for tools. That's a problem. The elite are the part of Nigeria. They don't care about the matter. They use them for tools. I think that what Nigeria need to do. Nigeria need to wake up as a community and say no to the elite. Say no to the politicians using us. They need to wake up. But Nigerians love the oppressor. They love people oppressing them. Even some Nigerians abroad who support the evil people. Some Nigerians abroad support evil politicians because they love the oppressor. How the hell you love your oppressor who oppressing you? That's dumb. They should wake up from your sleep.
That's true.
But that's what
Because
I'm saying.
even
The Nigerian people don't have, again, the Nigerian people are very corrupt. I agree. But what I'm saying is that Nigerian people don't wield official power. Nigerian people are not in charge of the central bank. So, for example, the Nigerian central former president, governor, whatever you call it, what did he do? He came in with the policy and said, "Oh, I'm changing the naira. From now on, the old currency is no longer viable." That caused untold hardships, which caused further corruption because now when you went to the bank to get new currency, they only gave the currency to their friends and their top bosses. So that was so the local guy at the bottom who's corrupt, he's not in charge of that policy that was nationwide that screwed everybody over. So I agree. The local guy at the bottom is corrupt and he needs to be dealt with. But official power, the officials that are wielding power in their hands, they need to do the right thing and make the right structural adjustments. Just like you have a structural adjustment program with the IMF, they need to make the right structural adjustments so that within one generation, the next group of Nigerian children coming up don't find it normal to talk, crazy or to drive on the wrong side of the road or to steal money. They find that weird. Like, why would I steal money when my government is providing things for me? I don't have to steal from the market because if I'm hungry, I can go to a local food bank and eat, you know, uh, food. Like, you get what I'm saying? But you got to put those things in place, then punish them for going against because it's like, yo, you stole money, you stole food. Yo, I gotta send you to prison for 5 years. I know, but my grandmother didn't kiss me. I know, but you gotta sit there in prison because guess what? We put food banks on every locality that if you hungry, you can get good cooked food. Not some bullshit where they just fry some fucking horse ass and tell you that's food, but they give you good food. If you put that there, now I can punish the people who don't want to listen. Does that make sense, Prissy?
Yeah, you see, like we want Nigeria. APC government to be good for Nigeria. You want them, but don't listen. Even one was a good example. One man, 10% be good president. Want them. This APC guy is not a good president, but they don't listen. Now they pay for the quality to pay. You put people in and pay for quality you pay. They don't listen. We want them. This APC guy to be a bad company. We want them, but they don't listen. So they must pay for what they brought in. They don't listen.
but you trying to zero in and blame one particular thing or the only the people. My opinion is like Nigeria versus both sides. The power is in both the people and the power. Mama Vini, the power is in both the people hands and the power is also in the hands of the elites. So when you just focus and zero in on one side, it's only the people. Da 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 da. You're gonna avoid the fact that the politician has a role, or the soldiers have a role, or the managers have a role, or the supervisor has a role. You have to focus in on both sides because I feel like even like if you look at what's going on in Ghana, even Nigeria, even in Haiti, with the problem of smuggling, right? With people smuggling stuff, even the government will pass an order, and you'll see certain
Yeah.
people undercut them and smuggle goods,
But
etc.
why are
That
they
comes from the
undercutting?
people's desire. No, but the people will sometimes have
So
their
so
own
so
desire
so
because
so let me
it's
give
not
you
all the people; it's only a particular group.
okay,
So
I
it's
agree
you
with you.
got
That's a great example. So let's flesh it out. Compare it, right? So in the United States, you have border customs and border patrol and customs, right? You have border patrol and customs. Now, there have been, I believe there was J.P. Morgan. They found a lot of a large shipment of cocaine in one of their shipping containers. So we know that in the American ports there's corruption. We know this, right? But everyone once a month, once a year, somehow, some way, the DEA, the ATF, all these police organizations make a drug bust. Now, maybe they're doing it for bullshit, but they do make enough of a drug bust that there's still a deterrent. The Nigerian situation, on the other hand, when you say don't import foreign rice or don't take the subsidized petroleum out of Nigeria, how can you say that to a custom officer in Nigeria or a border patrol officer in Nigeria who is ragtag, has no money, has no real options? Now, if we find a U.S. border patrol or customs agent being corrupt, it's easy to prosecute them because, yo, guess what? You get paid overtime. You get a starting salary. I think the last time I checked, you get a starting salary of like 60 something or 70 something thousand a year. You get a bonus. You get pension. You get everything that should be afforded to you to do your freaking job. So the minute you go against it and we catch you and it's a public issue, you will be prosecuted according to the fullest extent of the law. You have no excuse. It's impossible to tell a Nigerian or Ghanaian border patrol officer, "Yo, don't beg for a bribe," when he's starving. But the
Yeah.
people at the top, they're well fed. Their kids are in London. There was a governor in Nigeria recently. This guy, he paid the school fees for his children for like the next 15 years. Why? Because he stole the money. So my point is, his workers, his border patrol workers, his police in his state, you think that they're hungry. So they're going to look at it and say, yo, why would I bust my ass to do the right thing when my own governor, he's stealing money, his kids is good? Man, I'm not hearing that bullshit you said. So it has to start at the top so you can enforce responsibility. I'm not blaming one side. I'm saying if you are the people with power, you have responsibility. You can't be an elite. You can't be a big man and only want to be a big man when it's time to come to the Nigerian party and throw money on people. Be a
And
big man and fix your roads. That's
and
all I'm saying.
that's the reason why I don't blame. That's all the people crying now. I don't care. Why you crying now? You just brought the guy in power, and now you're crying. You put Tinubu in power. You put the evil government in power, and now you're crying. What's going? You put all this. Like you brought
Wait, you
this
said they
government
put
in
who?
power.
You said that they put the people in power?
No, I'm saying I think all these people who are crying now are hypocrites because you brought these people in power. They didn't get it there. You put them in power. You put these people in power, and now you
No, don't say that. Nobody votes in Nigeria. There's no votes. Come on, let's not lie to ourselves. There is no free and fair election in Nigeria. Don't ever say that. There's never been a free and fair election in
are you,
Nigeria, maybe other than the one where they voted in Abiola. That's probably the closest thing to a free and fair election we ever had in Nigeria. We've never had an election where nobody didn't get threatened with violence. They didn't try to kill you. People didn't get their heads broken. So we can't, it's unlike America where, okay, people vote, they vote. It is what it is. Nigeria, there's always, look at Edo State. There was violence in Edo State the last election. There's always electoral violence in Nigeria. So we can't
Yeah,
say, oh,
you are
people
right.
vote them in.
You are right, guys. All the Since 1999, there has never been a free and fair election. We need to be honest. Not when the person we like is there, then we start saying, "Oh, it is free and fair." Since 1999, there has never been a free and fair election in Nigeria till today. Okay,
oh,
there's an election that in Ondo State today. Do you think that election is free and fair? The answer is no.
okay. Nigeria was the past election free and fair? The past election for the president
Yeah?
the past election for the president was it free and
No,
fair?
No, none
no,
of
it
the
wasn't.
elections
Was it
It
1999
free?
couldn't
since
have been.
1999, there has never been free
No,
and fair
he
election.
said the past election. So are you saying that you really believe Tinubu won an election without any sort of interference, allegedly?
Yes,
Are you saying
see,
that?
no,
No.
no, no. There's interference because let me tell you why. Because when I see Nigeria, sometimes Nigeria always blame the people who doesn't have power to do any. For example, these guys end up blaming INEC. Let me tell you something. If the politicians themselves just give INEC the ability to do their job without interference, INEC will deliver. The reason why you don't have honest election in Nigeria, it has nothing to do with INEC. it has something to do with the politicians themselves. Just vote and go and allow INEC to call the what they call it result. They will do it without if anybody didn't interfere. But guess what? They all interfere.
Well, first off, Nigerian election space. Look, common sense, right? How many? If you go to any part of Nigeria, you have local government offices, you have schools, right? You have police precincts. Wouldn't it make sense to make a free and fair election in Nigeria to say, you know what, going forward, you have to vote in these three locations. You have to vote in your local schools. So we're going to pick, let's say in Benin or wherever state you're in, we have 25 schools. You can go to these 25 schools. You can go to these 17 police precincts and these 8 local government offices. That's where you're going to vote. Now, if you cannot vote there, maybe because it's too far, we're going to give you 1 month in advance to drop off your vote or mail in your vote however you want. So you have to fill out a form. You'll say like, I cannot go far. I'm this, right? And so you have to prove that this is where you stay. I'm an old man. I'm an old woman. I can't leave my house. I can't go far. You fill out the form, or they send people. They fill out the form for those in remote areas who don't want to travel, right? And they go and they fill out their vote a week in advance. They collect it and they keep it. So everybody sees we collected their vote. So it's only 25,000 people we collected pre-voting in advance because they cannot move. And I don't agree. They say, yes, we agree. Cool. No cheating. So those 25,000 votes are there waiting to be counted. Then the day of election, everybody goes to your local school, goes to your precinct, goes to your local government. That right there keeps the police from being spread out. So it's going to be very difficult. You tell all the media, go to all the schools, go to the police precincts. I don't think anyone's going to want to go to a police precinct and start any trouble, right? So now you solved all the problem of free and fair election in Nigeria. And they vote, the results are there. INEC, like you said, they walk in, they count, they say, yo, this many people got their votes. It's on camera. We counted it. These many people got their votes. This many people got their votes. That's the numbers. Everybody goes on their way. That's it. But again, it's power. And the people at the top right now in Nigeria would rather Nigeria be the way it is because they benefit from it. That's it. So we can blame the guy on the bottom all we want, like somebody in the chat room, in the chat, what's his name? Father Providence is saying, um, you know, the people start from being a common thief and they graduate to the community and national thief. Yeah, but a lot of the people that you see at the top, these elected officials who are stealing, they're not common thieves. What's that old song in Nigeria? Lead Us Well by African China. Poor man thief Maggie, we see him on crime fighters. Rich
Yeah,
man's thief money, we don't see him on crime fighters.
you're right.
So this that's Nigeria for you. So again, I'm not excusing poor people for kidnapping people and doing one chance. I'm not excusing that. I'm just saying that the people at the top have to take responsibility for their country. That's their patriotic duty. So Principe, I'm glad you're back. I want to ask you a question. If the United States was even 1/3 of what Nigeria looked like, do you think that the American establishment would accept it? Or do you think they would make excuses and say, yo, it's the people at the bottom, yo. It's the people at the bottom. They would say, fuck that shit. We're going to fix our country. We're going to get our country back to the standard that it is. That's why, Kaiser, I don't know if you're there. Can you play that video again of the dogs so people can
Oh my
see that the
God, this
dogs are
guy.
eating
Wait,
better?
wait, come on, bro.
Come
But
on,
you gotta be
Kaizo, play
realistic,
that
man.
video. Play
Can you
Yeah,
that
hear
that's
me?
video,
the last
Kaizo.
one. That's of
Can you hear me?
can't be
How,
comparing
how, how can how can you develop when you're trying to fully implement everything that the West is doing? You have to semi create your own system because even the corruption in America is legalized and structuralized. When you have people like the lobbyists, which is no different than a person that's stealing money, or not even stealing money, but accepting bribes. You will shun the Nigerian accepting bribes. You will shun the Haitian that's accepting bribes. but you're gonna praise the lobbyists because it's
So
institutionalized.
do you
Why
know
are we
that
trying to imitate Nigeria to the? I mean Nigeria, the U.S. to a T,
drumsticks? Now moving
This is
on.
why. Look at the video. That's
The
why.
chicken
Look.
bones are edible if they are raw, not cooked. Cooked bones cause
bro. But
lacerations. Really enjoying that. Also on the platter, we have some fruits such as pears, apples, and blueberries. Contain
So that's why, my brother, I agree with you. There's no difference between lobbying and corruption. It's very, very refined corruption. The Supreme Court has agreed that corporations are human beings and they can lobby and get their way. That's corruption. I'm not saying that you're wrong. What I'm saying is, at the end of the day, regardless if it's corruption or not, they are in a country in a system where their dogs are eating better than our people. It's not. I'm not saying that to insult us. I'm not saying that to say we ain't shit. I'm saying that to say we should be outraged. There's no
you need
outrage. That's what. That's
you
what I'm
need
saying.
you
Where's
need.
the outrage?
I don't. Like, I see outrage. I do see outrage and frustration. My thing is at the end of the day, it's a both. It's a two sided power sharing system. So that it's part on the people and part on the government. If the government is implementing stronger policies and you trying to undercut the government, it's gonna cut to the bottom line. You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So if in many ways there has to be an understanding on both sides. Even if you look at Burkina Faso, the people accept the mandate of General Tory. You know what I mean? Because now you have people that saying like, okay, we accept to pay more taxes, even if we paid enough taxes, and you have an initiative and you want us to contribute money to, we will create our own GoFundMe system to fund those implementations of those systems beyond taxes. Like Ethiopia, even the dam was built with funds beyond taxes, right? The people saw that vision and dream and got excited about it. That's why I feel like people underestimate the power of the people and the desire of the people, so we don't present a plan to the people. Like if you look at Nigeria 50 years ago and you compare it to Nigeria today, there's more people that's educated. You could say that the government implemented a wider tent to implement and aid more people, but the people haven't have a full trickle down in terms of jobs and stuff like that, which is
I no,
understandable.
sir.
But
No, sir. No, I disagree. That's not what happened. Nigeria
so
50 years
you're
ago
telling me
was
it's not more
not. Not
it's not more educated
I'm
people
telling
today
you.
than 50 years ago?
I'm telling you that that's a poor metric. We need to get away from education because Nigeria 50 years ago had more illiterates, but the people in Nigeria were not starving. Dogs in America did not eat better than Nigerians 50 years ago. That's my point. And that's what I'm trying to say. Listen, the outrage is that Nigerians, the elite Nigerians, will hear what I say about the dogs eating better than their people, and they'll get angry and they'll personalize it to say, no, I eat better than American dogs. And I'm not saying that they don't. Of course, you eat better. Kaiser just admitted it that his cat in Kenya eats better than the average Kenyan in Kibera. My point is this, that should not be the case. A human being, your human resource, should not be eating less in terms of nutrient density, in terms of satiation than an animal. And what I'm saying is that the outrage from our elites are non-existent. They don't even care that the people that they drive by don't eat. So what I'm saying is there needs to be a total overhaul. There needs to be a total overhaul in the thinking and a total overhaul in the way that we approach our systems. So whether you say we got to change it to an African system, I don't care. I don't know the answer to that, but what I'm saying is there has to be outrage at that dog can eat choice meals with fruits, vegetables, or well-balanced diet, and they're literally millions of Nigerian children that will never eat what that dog is eating. And when Nigerians hear it, instead of them to be like, "Yo, that's fucked up, man. We gotta let me
But
do something
hold
about
on.
that."
But you
Hold on. Let me
everybody.
land. Let me land. Let me
All right.
land. The Nigerians, I've never seen a Nigerian when I say this point say, "Yo, you know what, man? I'm gonna start a not-for-profit and start feeding people in my community once a week and put food out." You know what they do? They get angry. They say, "Oh, you a coon?" They come at me and they attack me. And it's like they don't even give a flying donkeys as their That's not the point. The point is not to attack me. The point is our people are starving. So what are we going to do? What system are we going to put in place so that our people can eat better than American dogs? There's no need to argue. Yo, that's bullshit, man. This fucked up. It doesn't matter. Our people are not eating good food. They don't have access to good food. They can't afford it. So what are we going to do to change it? That's all I want to hear, but nobody seems to care.
Guys, are you paying attention to what just happened in America, bro?
I'm listening to you, sir. I'm talking about Nigeria. Before you tell me about
Recent,
Nigeria,
no,
before you
no,
tell me about America, before you tell me about
America.
America, can you tell
You
me?
show
Can you tell
you
me?
sh- you
Can
show
you
you
tell me
showing
what
videos of a
Africans
dog.
need to do? Can you tell me what Africans need to do to make sure that they eat better than the American and British dog? That's what I want you to address first before you
They have
tell
to
me
come.
about what's happening in
They have
America.
they have to come up with a new 50-year plan and back it. The same way American people recently just voted in a good
Okay,
amount of numbers for
excellent.
Trump
That's
because
it. But
inflation was
that's
high.
it.
A lot of people, hold on. A lot of people even in America wasn't eating as good as that dog. So you're trying to show people a dog that's a fictitious standard because even in America, people were struggling. Inflation was high. All this type of different stuff going on in America. You present us a dog from a bourgeois of America to say this is how all Americans eat, which is a lie. You
I
see what I'm
didn't say
saying?
all Americans eat. I said that
That's
the
what you're
fact
presenting, though.
is, no, you see, you see, brother, you're being reactionary, and this is why it's hard to deal with my fellow Africans. I don't like it when y'all get so reactionary. There's no need to be reactionary. I'm not saying I'm better than you. I'm not saying that they're better than us. I'm saying the reality on the ground is this, is that they're American pets that are eating better than a majority of our citizens. And that needs to be addressed. Whether you like me, whether you don't like the message, it's a fact. And so we need
No,
to
no, no.
address the fact. So the 50-year plan, I agree with you. The problem is the elite Nigerians don't give a damn about a 50-year plan. They don't care about that. What I'm trying to explain to you is the elite Nigerians, their mentality is look, man, as long as my children are in America, Europe, London, wherever they get to go to, as long as I have my foreign properties in Dubai, I got my fancy imported foreign cars, and I get some prostitutes I can sleep with, and I can sleep with somebody's wife like eBay. As long as they have that, they're good. They don't care about the rest of the situation. So it's frustrating when you guys attack it as opposed to saying, yo, the people in charge, why won't they even address that? When are you going to call out the Nigerian establishment, Nigerian elite for refusing to address that, yo, there's Nigerian people that are not eating as good as American and Western dogs? Plain and simple.
I get what you're saying, but I'm just saying from a general standpoint, even in America, a lot of people not eating like that. I don't have no ill will towards you. I do like you, man. I feel like the messaging is on point. Most times, sometimes it's off, and this is one of the times when it's off. And overall,
You saying that the average American don't eat like that, but here's the difference. American women, if you are under a certain income level, when as soon as you have a baby, you get what you call women, infant, and children. They call WIC. They give them cheese, they give them juices, they give them fruits, they give them some sort of protein, carbs. They give them things which are subsidized by the USDA so that these women can feed their children because America cares about their human resources so that they can go to school, get a basic education, and if they're not that high performing, they end up in their military or they end up in law enforcement. That is the plan. And if you're just the lowest of the low and you're a degenerate, it's a school and prison pipeline, which you will still work and make freaking license plates for cheap, pennies on the dollar. That is the American system. So what I'm saying to you, my brother, is I don't see how you saying that the statement or the fact is wrong. There's no need to be upset or offended by it. What there needs to be is take that the way you feel about what I'm saying, take that and push it back. Pause to African elites that you come across. You don't have to be their friends. What I'm saying is not going to make them comfortable, but they shouldn't be comfortable because guess what? The average Nigerian woman don't got no wick. She can't go to her government and get women, infants, and children to get juice, to get fucking cheese, milk, bread. She can't get that. There is no SNAP benefits. So what I'm saying is the SNAP benefits are in some prostitute's vagina in Dubai by the African elite. That's what you need to be angry at. And I find it frustrating. And the reason, and no disrespect to you, brother, is that guys like you, you're smart, but you're more interested in, yo, we got Afro beats. We got some nigga that own an airport in Gatwick. Focus on that, Gas. Don't talk about our poverty and our suffering. Come on, Gas. You got to change that mentality. It ain't about the 5 people who got an airport at Gatwick or the idiots that dance Afro beats and now it's global. Fuck them niggas. The people is hungry, bro. And that's why them people is corrupt on the bottom because they're hungry, they're starving. This shit is messed up in Nigeria right now, currently. That's why Nigeria First is in Nigeria. Ask him, Nigeria First, keep it 1,000. Does the average person in Benin, can they eat what that dog was eating on a daily basis? Do they have the money for that? Keep it real, Nigeria first.
They cannot because we see catch them up if you are also honest. The problem of Nigeria cannot be blamed on the government only. We ourselves, me and you, including the people, also need to take responsibility of the current Nigeria. This idea that it's the government that just created everything, it is a lie. For example, I asked, I was talking earlier, I was like, do Nigeria involve in most of this policy? They say yes. They normally government normally do like they normally organize town hall for people's input whenever they are making policy. That means most of the policy you see we are supported by the people. If that is the case, really. So I don't understand this. Every time we all cry. For example, I think this year there have been for example, the government have all the product they banned before, they have removed the ban. I think they gave 6 months open window for people to import rice. So where are the imports? Where are the this thing?
I agree with you on that. That's not my point, though. My point is, my
Oh,
brother, you've already said that the average person in Nigeria right now cannot eat like that dog was eating. And that's what needs to be changed, regardless of who's to blame. Whether it's the elite, whether it's the government, whether it's the people, no problem. Whoever you want to blame, let's blame them. But that needs to be changed. That's the only issue. And that's why, like my brother Principe, he doesn't necessarily like my message because what I'm presenting, he wants to present a new narrative of a Nigeria. Yo, we got Afro beats. It's a new global thing.
no,
We got
that's
Owner Gatwick. We got Airpiece. F all
no,
that shit
no.
because the average Nigerian is not even the average Nigerian artist is not even benefiting from the dividends of Afro beats. It just came out. Afro beats generated however many millions or billions, and the Nigerian artists don't even get a bulk of that money. What are we talking
Yeah,
about here?
yeah,
So these are things that are
they,
structural.
they get money from their tour. They mostly get their own money from their tour when they tour. That's when they get money. As for the record sales, most of the revenue goes to the record. I mean the I think the publishers of those.
That's so my point is this is that when we see this stuff, I don't know why people are their feelings are hurt. There's no need to get our feelings hurt. If the dog is eating better than us, let's change it. We don't need to be angry. Okay, let's
But
how
but
can
but,
we
but
make
guys,
sure that the dog don't eat better than us? That's easier than fighting.
On the platter, we have some
but
fruits,
guys,
pears, apples, and blueberries, contain antioxidants and full of vitamin C. We have a block of frozen mint there. The reason why I give it frozen is just harder to eat, makes it more of a
Okay,
challenge for you.
gas.
Mango.
How
There's
do
also
we, for
there,
example,
sprats.
when you look at the
Rabbit eating
Nigeria
is
problem
not really good
also,
for the dog, as it
because one thing when you look at the country,
on there.
nobody discuss the issue of birth control. I have never seen any politician discuss about birth control. I believe that should be implemented.
I don't know.
Because
Listen, birth control is a very tricky thing because you can lead to eugenics very quickly. Before we get to birth control, let's fucking get hunger control. Before we talk
no,
about
no,
birth
no.
control, oh, you got to kill people. Before
No.
we get to birth control,
hold
let's
on,
It is
because
hold
part
on.
of no, no. It is part of it because see, for example, there are still people even
Go
though
go
they
go
are
go 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 go
poor,
go go go
they,
go
they
go
have
go.
they still go ahead and have multiple kids. They have multiple wives without any means of taking care of these people. So we can blame government all we want. Some of our personal decisions are also contribute to the problem.
when like I said, you have to be very careful because at the end of the day, China implemented the one rule policy and then they had to go against it because they realized that it was easier. It's much easier to provide abundance to your people than to control their sexuality. Because then what ended up happening is they shipped a lot of their women out. So now China has an imbalance. They have more men than they have women. So that's why China has to export their males because they don't have too many women. So they need to export their males. So if you create imbalances, I'm not saying that there shouldn't be family planning in terms of, hey, you need to afford your children, but I'm very, very cautious with anything control of births because it becomes eugenics very quickly. So I'm saying before we even get there, let's address the fact that in Nigeria, there can be policies made where food, you can create vertical farming with hydroponics in urban areas tomorrow governors can implement these things and you can have food abundance in Nigeria. You can have food security in Nigeria where you don't even have to import wheat in Nigeria. Nigeria has numerous traditional grains,
Hold
millet,
on,
acha.
Gazamo.
So so
Hold on, Gazamo. What you just said, who is going to do the work? Is it the government you want to do the work, or a citizen of the state should take
it's the
advantage of this thing?
government. You see, what you keep saying, what you're pushing is what we call the neo liberal free market position,
Okay,
and there's nothing wrong with it, right? It's
I
this
mean,
idea of less
You are not
government.
You are not serious. Sorry, because you live in a
Okay,
capitalist system in the US.
I don't.
You have
America is not a capitalist country. America is not a
see,
capitalist country.
okay, let's argue. Okay, it's not a capitalist system. Okay, I agree. But who are the
Okay.
farmers? Do American government involved in farming in the US?
Yes, they are. They are heavily
No.
subsidized. Let me.
Yes, they
You
give
asked the question.
subsidy, but they give subsidy.
So
They
that's
don't
that's
involve.
that, that's my point. They're giving them subsidies. Many of the farmers, if they had to take their farm produce to market, they would be bankrupt. So the USDA, through taxpayer money, is subsidizing American farmers. That is where. Let me give you an example. Let me show you the
I think
system, the
you
power of the
should say
American.
that the
Wait.
government should
Oh,
subsidize farmer. I will
listen,
agree
listen,
with
listen, listen. Let me teach it to you. Let me teach it to you so you can understand. Right? Let me teach you this. The power of a system. Now, the American farmer is subsidized by the USDA and other um, governmental agencies, right? Now, when they get subsidized, that excess food that the government tells them to farm, do you know what the government does? This is what they do. They make sure they get bought out in two ways. One of the ways is they provide low cost or free lunch to American children. So that is why when children go to school, their food, their lunch doesn't really cost. They either get it free depending on their income, or they get it at a low cost. That's given to them by American farmers. Second,
But through
the
what?
fast
Through
food.
what? Though? Hold on. You
Wait,
skipping steps.
listen. Let me
But through tax.
but
Through tax.
them of I support
listen, gentlemen.
subsidizing
Listen. Let
farmer.
me land. Let me land. Well, Nigeria first. Listen, because you mentioned farmers, so I'm showing you that there's no capitalism. It's all bullshit. So again, they get the free lunch program is directly tied into the subsidies they give the USDA. Now, let me show you the corporation side. If you're in America, you should notice something. When you get to the America, every week there's a commercial. For example, like Arby's, every week they have a new commercial for a new sandwich. Arby's Baconator tennis ball, Arby's fish grilled, blah, blah, blah. McDonald's, blah, blah, blah. They come up with a new sandwich, a new Sunday. Do you know why? Because they are also buying excess meat, chicken, pork, and beef from the farmers with the grain. So they come up with these bullshit sandwiches, which they market to the American public. And at the time, now it's changed because of inflation, but at the time, fast food was very cheap to make sure that Americans could eat cheap food. So the fast food was also in connection with the farm subsidies. The fast food restaurants, McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, were all buying these foods from the farmers at subsidized rates. So you can see it's a system. Now, Nigeria can implement that. We could have done that with Mr. Biggs. We could have done that with Tantalizers. But our elite government officials would rather steal the money, hide the money in some prostitute's vagina in Dubai, than create a system where we can have food. That's the whole point, my brother. So it's not
Gas,
about, oh, small government,
gas,
big government. I'm showing you it's a
we can
system.
agree that government should subsidize farmers. I agree on that. We are not going to. I'm not going to dispute that. But the idea that government should involve in the farming, it is. I don't think that would be possible. They are not going to do that.
I never
But
said government should be involved in farming. Don't lie. I never said that. I'm telling you again that you
you
create
should
a
have not said
system.
government should subsidize the farmers.
I did
I
that.
agree with that.
So
That
so
100%.
if governments are subsidizing farmers, that's not a free market. That's not capitalism. That's not less government. That's actually more
But
government, right?
how
So
many
the point is
hold on.
the
If there's
yeah,
okay, if there's such policy, do you think currently look at the Nigeria people? How many people will grab that policy? How many? How many people do you think?
the average American is not farming. The
Okay.
average American does not, the number of the population of farmers is probably not even up to 1% of the American population. You don't need 30% of Nigerians farming anymore. That's not the global world we live in. What you need is two things. You need the government and the farmers to embrace permaculture. They need to embrace new concepts of horticulture and agricultural farming. And they need to look at urban renewal in terms of, for example, hydroponic and vertical farming in urban spaces. So the governors of Lagos and all these other Bini, they can take places that are not being utilized and build vertical farms, and they can create food security. And they can tell the farmers, come in here, grow your produce. We'll give you a low rate to rent out the space. You grow your produce in these vertical farms. So that way you cut the distance that you have to travel from farm to city. You can do this. These are all things that they can come up with tomorrow to create food security for Nigerians. The question is, again, will the Nigerian elite government officials say, let's do this? Or will they say, no, it's much better to take the money and shove it in a prostitute's vagina in Dubai? And right now, they'd rather shove it in a prostitute's vagina. So let's stop giving them easy ways to get off the hook. If you're a big man and you spray money and you show us that you're a big man with your fancy Bentley, then you have to be a big man and make sure you have a road. You have to be a big man and make sure we have a system in place so we can get on the train, that we can get on a bus safely, that food can be brought to the markets, that there's light, that children can cross the street after 3 p.m. when they get from school. You know, and I know most of these children, when they don't even have crossing guards. What are we talking about? You know, so it's not about more government, less government. It's about efficiency. Private, public have to work together. Everyone has to be patriotic. No one's patriotic. The private of they just said Air Peace people are sleeping at the airport. They're sleeping. The guy said he landed at the airport. The Air Peace official was sleeping. So Nigeria First, what does that tell you? That tells you that Air Peace, a private institution, they don't give a fuck, and that the Nigerian officials that should tell them, how dare you sleep in my airport, they don't give a fuck. What are we talking about here, Nigeria First? Both sides are failing. There's no patriotism, and that's the difference. An American and a Nigerian, the big difference is that an American, whether they're corrupt or not, wants America to still work. They want their systems to work. When are Nigerians going to want their systems to work? That's all I'm asking you guys.
I get what you're saying, but you kind of a lot of the stuff that America is doing is through taxation. Mama, relax. Through taxation. So it's from taking taxes from sales tax, from housing tax, all these different taxes is what's generating more money to do all these different implementation of things. If a lot of even the big man don't want to pay tax and the common man is trying to cut corners, where are you going to get all this money to buy to pay for agents to subsidize different plans that you have in terms of um, vertical farming, even regular farming, etc. All these things cost money. Border patrol, all that costs money. So to do these things will require taxes. And if the average person don't want to pay taxes, you have to come up with the unique schemes or something like that to generate the taxes to increase the bottom for the government to implement different policies as well as overall Nigeria 100-year, 50-year agenda that all 4 or 5 parties can sit down and agree upon, and the masses of people can vote upon. You see what I'm saying? I'm
Exactly.
just being realistic.
No,
You
I
can't like
agree.
fully
You're
force.
right.
I feel like
No,
I feel
listen,
like
you're 100% right.
patriotism in America is going to look a little bit different from patriotism in Africa, especially Nigeria, because it's over 200 different ethnic tribal groups. You see what I'm saying? 200 different cultural, family, deep tied, traditional type people. So you're going to have everybody buy in. All tribes must be respected. You're supposed to have some kind of campaign promoting that. Respect all tribes. We are one Nigeria, many tribes make a beautiful nation. Whatever that will promote unity rather than trying to just saying that everything that the West have, we need to abolish. Not you. You don't say that stuff, but certain people say, "Oh, you need to abolish all the tribes. We need to do da 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 da." All this stuff is creating more rifts rather than trying to implement already strongholds that you already have. I don't praise Mama Vini. I don't praise Afrobeats because of just the debauchery or whatever. I just believe that it changes. Mama, relax. I believe Afrobeats changes the imagery of Africa. You see what I'm saying? The same way bless you, mama, bless you. The same way they used to paint Africa as one of the worst places to be on the earth. Nigeria painted through the Afrobeats painted as a place to be, which starts with the mental mind. You see, sometimes it
But
starts with the
Africa
mental mind
didn't
to
need that.
change.
But
It did,
listen,
yes, it
brother.
did,
No,
it
no, no.
did.
Hold on. Let me address it.
Why
No,
wouldn't
no.
it
Let me
need that?
address it. No, no, no. Listen. First off, the African people didn't need that because before so-called Afrobeats, African people were never walking around saying, "Oh, our life is messed up." That was diasporan people that needed Afrobeats, and that's why Afrobeats is more geared towards diasporic consumption. So, for example, this recent last just this summer, Nigeria was going through enough turmoil. People were striking. None of the Afrobeat musicians can speak because all their music is a simulation. None of their music is reflective of what's actually happening in Nigeria. They all make fantasy music. We have a Bentley, my baby, my sugar, blah, blah, blah. So it makes diasporan people feel cool that, hey, we got this bullshit place we can run to and escape to, right? But let me address the point you said about taxes. Look, it's very easy for Nigeria to collect taxes from her citizens. Nigeria has like a social security number. Nigeria has an NIN number and they have a BVN number. That needs to be put into some sort of synchronization to where your NIN and your BVN, just like your social, are locked in. Nigeria needs to keep better records. To this day, if you go into the banks in Nigeria, they're still using in some banks, they're still using paper records, right? They're still putting things on paper, not because they don't have the technology, but because there's no generation of power so that you can realistically and reliably rely upon your cloud or your data software in the Nigerian banks. So now, if you have a system in place where you're giving the Nigerian people enough power, so for example, all of northern Nigeria is very, very dry. It gets very hot. Every governor in northern Nigeria should sit down there and take land that's not being used and put solar panels so he can generate electricity. Now that generation of electricity, he can sell it back to the national grid, or he can use it to make sure his state has power. The same thing in the south is a lot of rain. They can put wind panels to get that wind energy, and they can use that and do what? They can now turn that wind to electricity, right? So that can be done to now when you get that extra power, now you can implement in taking data collection of your citizens. So every Nigerian, as soon as you're born, that child is supposed to be just like in America. You get your child gets their birth certificate from the hospital, and then they get their social security number mailed to them. They can do that tomorrow, where they sit down there and they collect when the child is born in Nigeria, the child gets their NIN and their BVN, and now they're linked. And the parents' information, everything is there and is put into a federal and state database, and everyone gets a state ID. So now every year you must prove that you paid your taxes. So if you don't show, hey, listen, number XY553, you didn't show us your income. Where do you work? Oh, I don't work. Okay, you don't work? Let's check our database, because every employer, whether you in the market or whether you're a professional employer, you have to have all your employees in the database. Let's type your name. Okay, your name's not coming up. All right, cool. Well, this is your flat tax that you owe. You must pay 20,000 naira a year if you're not in the database. But the minute you're in the database, we're going to see your income, and this is what you owe. And your employer will take it automatically from your salary to give to us. Brother, that could be done in an hour. The question is that do the elite government officials want that to be implemented? I'm not going to ask the poor people at the bottom, do they want that? The answer is no. They're going to say, we don't want the taxation. Of course not. But F them. You got to do what you got to do, not to abuse them and steal their money, but to make sure that now they got roads, they got security, you paying your police, your border patrol, you paying them a livable wage. So the minute we catch you on camera stealing and letting somebody smuggle out oil out the country, yo, 40 years in jail. There's no argument. Oh, but I'm connected to the governor. Tough luck. And if he play around, we throw his ass in jail too. When you get principles like that in Nigeria, I guarantee you Nigeria will be the greatest place on earth. But I'm telling you, I know Nigerian elites. The Nigerian poor people won't do it. But the Nigerian elites, they're the biggest ones that will never go along with it, because it's much easier to take that money and shove it up a prostitute's vagina in Dubai. That's my point, brother.
I don't know if somebody else want to talk, but I get your point because it's something similar in Haiti. Like, and even relax, mama, relax, come on. Even really, okay. Even in Black America, it's something similar where the elites kind of don't really invest back into the masses in full the way they should. But I do see that people like Dungati, right? He's somewhat setting the tone for those to reinvest in Nigeria to increase wealth and stuff like that. So that's where it starts. You know what I mean? Even I seen like relax. Even in America, I think I seen a Black American guy. He created some device that makes water from thin air, almost something like that, like a machinery. Stuff like that could be brought to the north. We relax. Could be brought to the north to increase productivity in the north. You see what I'm saying? You guys got to also utilize technology and resources and innovation. All right, hold on, my fault, bro.
No, I agree with you, brother. The question is, do you think a northern governor in Nigeria gives a damn about, using technology to get water from an arid environment? He don't care.
No. But,
He wouldn't do
how
it.
does he? How does he get into office? Though the people should be having an
The
agenda,
people don't.
and
I
the
just told you
masses.
there, brother. I just told you there's no free and fair election in Nigeria. No Nigerian can
No.
ever tell you there's a free and fair election. So when you say how he gets into office, he gets into office because he's somebody's godson. Right now in Nigeria, there's a state in Rivers State in Nigeria. Just Google it. There's a fight between the former governor Wike and the current governor Fubara. Wike was this guy's godfather. He put him in. That was his little man. That was his little homie. Wike was the big homie. Now he don't want to play ball. He's angry, so they going back and forth. Wike had his godfather, but Wike is like, I don't need godfathers no more because I'm plugged in with Tinubu. So these are the games. So when you say how do they get in office, no one gets in the office in Nigeria because the people's mandate wants you there. The last election that we saw that was Abiola. That was the last election, and you saw what they did. His own military friends betrayed him and killed him. You see what I'm saying? So this is what I'm trying to tell you, brother. You making it seem like, oh, the people don't have no power. There's no power
But
for the
hold on,
people to do
can I push
anything.
back a little bit? Because even during the election time, you'll see like the different power systems in every country. Black Americans claim that they didn't have leadership, but you saw all the different forms of leadership during the election, whether those who were for Kamala or against. Haiti claimed there ain't no leadership, but when it's election time, you see oligarchies dropping money, you see big elites speaking, people for, against. The same way in Nigeria. Nigeria claims there's no voice of the people, blah blah blah. But you'll see in the imams speak during election time. You'll see the kings speak during election time. You'll see different politicians, different leaders speak during the election time that shapes the tone. Why can't they speak about an agenda when there is no election and create the tone for Nigeria
Because
beyond the
they
election?
are
You see what I'm saying?
because listen, brother, you asking the question, I'm giving
Because
you the answer.
you
Maybe you don't
said you
want to
said
believe
white
it.
you said white you said white doesn't respect the people, but he respect the
No,
Yoruba king, right?
listen, no, he don't. Listen, let me tell you right now, the kings in Nigeria, they're errand boys. They shoot 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you would never hear anybody even touching a king. Now they'll shoot at a king in Nigeria. This is how bad it's gotten. Kings in Nigeria get kidnapped, they get robbed, they get shot at. Nobody, listen, Nigeria is the wild, wild west right now. The old guard is slowly being deteriorated. And unfortunately, nobody is sitting down there to say, yo, we can do something about this. People don't care anymore. All people care about is, look, man, let me just make some money, feed my family. I can't fix this. And so what I'm saying is the average man on the bottom is not going to be the one to fix this. The elite government officials and their cast of people are the ones that have to take responsibility. They have to become patriotic and say, yo, you know what? We stole enough money, man. You know what? We let the IMF bend us over and penetrate us. Enough is enough. Let's stop this and let's sit down there and come up with plans to make Nigeria great again. They don't care. They don't want to make Nigeria. For them, Nigeria is just a British business contraption or British slum lord contraption in which they go in there, they steal resources, and they allow the West to get their way. That's all it is, bro. So I agree with you. Yeah, they should be coming up with policies to do one, two, three, four, five things. They will not do it because it's much easier. Okay, let me give you an example. You saw that guy Ebang that just was having sex with everybody's wife and all that stuff
Oh yeah, yeah, and Guinea,
in
Equatorial Guinea, yeah.
Equatorial Guinea. Yes. Now, this guy, I guarantee you, right? He slept with everybody's wife, whatever. I'm not mad at that. Who cares? My point is this. I guarantee if you go to his village in Equatorial Guinea, it's a fucking shithole. He could have took 25% of the energy he had in sleeping with everybody's wife, right? Great, bro. You knocking them loose. That's what's up, man. Stretch them coochies. My point is that you could have fucking put 3D printers in your village. You could have sat down there and made sure that in your village there's a hospital training center that can rival at least some of the best hospitals in West Africa so that the women can give birth to good, healthy babies. The men, if you get sick, you can be healed. He could have made sure there's road, there's light. He could have put fucking he could have really fixed his village with the power that he had. He don't give a fuck, bro. You heard him. He's playing Wu Tang and Mob Deep while busting cheeks. So my point is, he rather go, you laughing. You listen. Look, I know these people, man. I know these people. I know how they get down. They don't give a fuck about Africa. For them, look, man. I'm just in power. Make this money. I'm out. So that's so and here's the fucked up part. The people, if I go to Nigeria and I galvanize the people, that's gonna create a change. What do you think people like Ebang are gonna do? Oh, you trying to make change? You want to be a
They
hero?
gonna try,
We eat
yeah,
sandwich. They're gonna kill you. You want to be a hero?
yeah.
You know what we do to heroes? A hero's a sandwich, motherfucker. We eat sandwiches. That's what they're gonna do. Like so we can't kid ourselves. So that's why I say the only thing that a regular person can do is when you see these people in power, tell them the truth. That's why I'm no pause. I'm hard on them Afro beats because I'm like, yo, Afro beats is bullshit. It's for the diaspora. Afro beats doesn't even reflect what's happening in Nigeria. Who got a
So let
Bentley
me
in
ask you,
Nigeria? Who's
let me ask
driving a
you a question,
Bentley
man.
throwing millions of dollars on some bitch in Nigeria? Who got that kind of
So
money? The average Nigerian. They don't got it.
so let me ask you a question then. If that's the situation in Nigeria, why there's not a push for either like a coup, because that's the energy that's going on right now. The politician ain't doing right, kick them out. You see what's going on in Mozambique, right? Or why there's not a push for a more unified, how you call them, opposition parties uniting, similar to what happened in Senegal, and pushing for a new vision. You see what I'm saying? I don't see none of that going on. That's why I assume that to a certain degree, there's some kind of, there's some kind of agreement with what's going on. That maybe I don't
No,
see certain things, and maybe there's a
no.
bigger picture
Here's the thing.
or a
You
10-year
said
plan that I don't.
no, you're right. You said, why is it that Nigeria doesn't have like a great opposition? Because the opposition, if you look at them, they're all compromised. So you got Atiku, you got Peter Obi. Atiku is, allegedly not the most clean person. Go on Google Halliburton and his hand in that corruption. Peter Obi, he was in the Panama Papers hiding money. So the opposition are only crying sour grapes because they not getting their turn to steal money too. That's the whole thing. They're not crying sour grapes like, yo, we really want to fix the country. They just crying sour grapes like, yo, bro, it's my turn to steal. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's just waiting for their turn to steal money and get access to money to steal. So that's all that is. Now, in terms of what's going on with the people, again, you have not had a free and fair Nigerian electoral mandate other than the time of Abacha. I mean, sorry, before Abacha, Abiola. That was the last time the Nigerian people in mass voted for Abiola. They wanted him. Now, I don't know if that was the best choice, but that's who they voted for. So the Nigerian people are in a situation right now today where literally there's no alternative for them to really free themselves. So you said a coup, okay, now, unlike Burkina Faso, do you know since Abacha, because Abacha was the last president, the last military dictator, and he had his problems, but he really lit a fire under the ass of the Nigerian elite. He didn't play no games with the Nigerian elite. He could give a fuck about any of them. He threw them in prison, threw them in jail, hard labor. He didn't give a donkey's ass about none of those motherfuckers, right? So the Nigerian establishment after Abacha, they collectively agreed that they would underfund the military and all, armed forces and the institutions. So now the soldiers, the Navy, the Air Force, all these dudes are pretty much not, funded. They're they're overwhelmed, they're underpaid. They don't even have the resources to properly fight anything, right? They really don't. I'll say this, that they did that consistently over the years. 20 years ago, if Boko Haram had opened their mouth in Nigeria, or let me say 30 years ago, they would have been destroyed in a week. So the fact that they're still in existence lets you know that it's political, unless you know that the Nigerian military is severely weakened. And that was done strategically to make sure that nobody could come up and check the Nigerian political establishment anymore, because the military was always a thorn in their side. So that's the whole thing, my brother. So again, the elite of Nigeria are the real responsible party because they have official power. And when they start doing the right thing, now they can tell the people below them, if you don't do the right thing, we'll punish you because we are holding ourselves responsible and accountable. But they don't care, bro.
So may
Look
I
at
ask you a
eBay.
question?
I want this. Look at
Okay.
ask me a question in a second. Look at eBay. That's the average Nigerian mentality. eBay is the typical Nigerian mentality. Make money, sleep with everybody's wife, fuck your wife, and it's just pure debauchery. They don't give a shit. I'm telling you, that's how they are. But go ahead.
Yeah, I see your point, and it's similar. Shoot that. I see your point, but overall, do you think that you're overlooking? Because I heard you speak before, and you always talk about how the only way Nigeria is going to advance is through radical levels of change, and it will lead to either suffering, but people are going to have some level of sacrifice, right? And do you think that you are not looking at the big picture? Maybe do you think Tinubu has a 10-year, 15-year plan that you're not looking at, and maybe that you're overlooking it? Maybe people are suffering today, but it's to increase the wealth of Nigeria tomorrow. Maybe his plan and is going to create like a 5 6 year low side in which people's going to have rapid inflation, etc. But when the dollar value returns to its true form, they will be making almost damn near double of what the naira used to be. You see what I'm saying? Do you think you are
I hear
too
that.
hard
I hear
on
that.
Tinubu?
I'm not hard on Tinubu. Pause. It's not. I didn't. You see, remember, I didn't
Yeah,
reflect.
yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
say
yeah. My fault.
Tinubu.
Pause.
Yeah, but remember, I didn't single out Tinubu. I didn't. You called him out. I didn't say his name. You said his name. You know what I'm saying? So I just want that for the record. You the one who said his name, not me.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right.
I hope that that's what you said is the reality. But to me, when I look at other nations like Japan, Korea, China, they didn't do any of the nonsense that he's purporting that needs to be done to make Nigeria a strong state. So the reality is this: in 2010, Nigeria was a $500 billion economy. At one point, if you read old articles, you can Google it. It was talk of the BRICS economy. That was Brazil, Russia, India, Nigeria, China, and South Africa. They were called the BRICS. So now they removed Nigeria and they became the BRICS, right? And Nigeria was strategically because our leadership is known to, lay prone and let the West penetrate them. So they didn't want to be a part of this BRICS, bucking of the SWIFT system and bucking of the balance of international Bank of International Settlement system. They rather play along to, get along. And so you go from a $500 billion economy to literally a $150 billion economy, $200 billion economy because of a policy shift overnight. That tells you that while you listening to the West, you could have did certain changes, but you didn't have to do those specific changes, and you could have kept the economy strong, and you could have continuously did other things that I'm talking about, like legal change in terms of reforming your legal system so contract law can be respected. People can get swift justice, especially in regards to business contracts and things like that. You could have, emphasized a stronger emphasis on title and deed transfer when it comes to land so that you can, have people develop properties in areas much quicker, right? You could do that. Also, You could have done other basic solutions, such as, like I said, vertical, hydroponic farming on urban levels. You could have told your governors to do these things to make food security. You could reduce the wages of your politician elite and make sure that money is being paid to your, workers who are in law enforcement and your other civilians who need those money so that they are not tempted to be corrupt. You could have done that. You could have strengthened your taxation body, your FIRS, right? The Federal Inland Revenue Service of Nigeria. You could have done all of those things and still not decimated your economy in this neoliberal shock and awe tactic. It's Milton Friedman nonsense, but it never works. They tried it in South America and it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't work for any economy. You never saw Japan do it. You never saw South Korea do it. You never saw China do it. So again, I don't know anything. I'm not a smart guy. I'm just somebody who copies smart people, and I don't have a crystal ball. So I hope what you're saying is the reality, and I'm wrong. But if other economies that are not powerful didn't do that, I'm not sure how he thought that him doing those things is going to make Nigeria a powerful economy. So we'll see. I hope so.
I hear you. I hear you. But that was my main point. 'Cause I feel like at the end of the day, sometimes we trying to follow the West to a T, and basically the West has the beneficiary factor that they have the World Bank behind them. They're forcefully pushing and manipulating people's currency that Nigeria doesn't have, that Guinea doesn't have, that
So
Cote
so let me ask
d'Ivoire
you a
doesn't
question.
have, that Ethiopia don't have.
Do you know that they did a Freedom of Information Request Act, a FOIA Request Act, right? And they said they wanted to know whatever information that the DEA, FBI, and CIA had on Tinubu, and they said they're not going to release that information. So what
So,
do you think that
so
means?
he's probably one of their inside men. That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
So then
where
how
like
can you so then how can you now tell me that his plan is to fix Nigeria when he's their inside man? What are you talking about here?
no. I'm not trying to say that he is. I'm trying to just say that it just like not just him. I'm just saying overall we have a tendency of trying to say that the West is
Yeah,
doing
but
this, the West
he's
is
the
doing that.
person. But remember, he's the person in power right now. If he's the
Yeah, I
person in
know.
power, and currently the guy in power, they don't even want to release information that they have on him without it being redacted, then what does that tell you?
Yeah,
So again, this is okay.
I
Okay, let me
personally
give you
believe he's
another
inside man.
example.
But
Let,
Yeah.
that's them of the US will
yeah.
not release that kind of distance because they are not going to release a source and method the way they are able to get those information. They're not going. Of course, they are going to redact certain things because they are not going to expose their method and the way they get all those information.
No,
Or you
no,
expect them to
but
release that kind of
no,
information?
no. I expect them to release the information. Not they don't have to tell me how they got the information. They can redact that. But the fact that they didn't release any information, they said they're not going to release any
Because
information
the
on
person
him.
in question is a current president. He has immunity.
Okay,
These are sensible
no,
No, no,
things.
no,
he
no, no,
doesn't.
no. They did that before
No,
the election, though. They did that. They did that before the
he
election. They
doesn't.
said that
He
they
doesn't
won't
have
release
immunity.
information until 2028 or something like that.
No, no. See,
Yeah, hold on,
see,
wait,
you
but
may
he
think
doesn't
that,
have
but
immunity. Immunity from what?
hold on. The current,
Okay,
see,
go
the,
ahead.
the person in question is the president of another country who is allied to the United States. You think they will just release that kind of information? They are not
No,
going
but
to.
hold on.
They know that.
No, no, no,
Hold on,
no,
hold on.
sir.
They know no matter how either good or bad information is, they know that's not good. That will cause
No, no. Here's the problem. In America, laws are respected. And whenever they don't respect the law, you know there's a problem, right? Where there's
that
smoke, there's
is what
fire.
you think. That is what
So,
you think.
so
See,
no, no,
if,
wait, listen, brother.
hold on. Have they released the Jeffrey Epstein information up to the
Yes,
date?
actually, they no, they actually have. They've released his call log, they released his flight logs. My point
No,
is that
you
hold
said
on,
flight.
wait.
What about the released
Listen,
information?
wait, hold on, wait, hold on. The point is, in America, when you file a Freedom of Information Request Act, right? When you file a Freedom of Information request, when according to that act, that they're supposed to release all records without it being redacted. So when they release those records and it's redacted or they refuse to release it, that tells you that there's a current ongoing interaction. So they don't even have to say it anymore. The fact that they don't want to release it or that they release it redacted lets you know that there's a problem. So my point is that you should not have your president in such a position that they can release information. For example, if you did a freedom of information request release on uh, Putin or whatever, or you know, the Chinese premier, they probably have information on him that they won't necessarily release, but they will release what they want to release because they don't have a hold on Putin or
No,
Premier Xi. So
let me
what I'm
tell you why
saying
they
is
hold
that
on. Why they will release
yeah.
it. Those people are not allied with the United States for
That's so you just
military.
answered the question. No, listen, my brother. This is why I get angry with you. Your belief is play the game. When you play the game, then America and Nigeria are not allies. You can only be allies with your equal.
On paper,
Uh,
yes, but in
no,
reality,
no, no, no,
no.
no, 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 no. Don't say on paper. America and Nigeria are not allies. There's no allyship. It's a
Yeah,
one-way relationship. America
okay.
dictates, Nigeria dances. That's it. So there's no ally there.
Well,
Don't this.
on
Let's not
paper,
use no. Let's not use big words
well,
and lie to ourselves. We are
yes,
not
of course, I
allies.
agree with you
No.
that
Okay. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example.
I agree that in
When
reality it's a one way. On
listen,
paper,
listen.
you have to
Hold
follow.
on. Listen.
You have to follow the this thing. Go ahead.
Okay. Listen. When Nigeria had the Halliburton scandal,
Yeah.
Nigeria released a this thing a warrant to arrest Dick Cheney. America, that's you just said, is their ally. They would never arrest Dick Cheney for Nigeria. But guess what? When America wanted hush puppy, Dubai doesn't even have an extradition agreement with America. They still allowed the American FBI to enter Dubai and remove hush puppy. A Nigerian citizen in a country that doesn't have an extradition treaty with America. So that already tells you there's no allies there. So
Yeah.
my
Well,
point is,
then what happened to Atiku?
who
You
Atiku?
Atiku was involved in that case. You know.
Okay, once again, Atiku, he came into the United States, and they gave him a 24-hour window to enter the United States, and then he flew back. You guys don't know that. Go and Google it.
Yeah,
So my
I know. I
point is
know.
this. Listen,
During
my
the
point is
election,
this. Listen. Yeah, so my point is this. All of the Nigerian elite, the Nigerian leaders, they're all compromised because they want to play the game. Do you know why they won't? It will be difficult to do that to Ibrahim Traore or the leader in Mali or Guinea. I mean, the leader in Mali or the leader in Niger, because those guys don't want to play the game anymore. They say enough is enough. Nigerian leaders are not ready to say enough is enough. For them, life is good. My children have money. I have refineries. I have this. What's it consign me? Consign that one doesn't. They don't care. So you can't
but
tell me that there's not a
that's
problem.
that's
Yeah.
what the Burkina Faso are doing right now. Let's not forget that we actually did all those things in the 90s. You understand me? During Abacha and the rest, we did all those things as a nation. Then, during after we transit to this thing, let's be honest, almost all the wealthy people right now, the business, so-called business people, a lot of wealth transfer was done after 1999. Some of these people bought cheap assets and they become billionaires. Even Dangote bought some. Femi Otedola, other people in the country, what they call it, Tony Lumelu, all that. So a lot of people bought cheap stuff from the government. In my humble opinion, that was a wealth transfer. It has nothing because the money they pay for all those things was just
And that was done under whose regime? Obasanjo's regime
yes,
and Abdul
ambassador.
Salam regime. Now, when Abacha was alive, all these people could not buy Nigeria assets for any cheap. So what happened is, remember, Nigeria was under sanctions. So when they say Abacha was stealing money, Abacha had to use individuals to hide money. So that way they could purchase things that they needed on the foreign market because Nigeria was under sanctions. But they didn't put China under sanctions. And China is killing their own citizens, but they're angry at Abacha killing their citizens. So my point is, my brother, listen, let's not kid ourselves. Nigerian elite are 100% to blame for Nigeria's fucked up situation. When they are ready to stop going to weddings and spraying money like pieces of shit, When they are ready to fix their economy and fix their country, then we'll see Nigeria be improved. Until then, we're just deceiving ourselves. They're never going to change anything, and Nigeria is just going to be the way it is. Nigeria is a shithole. So back to my video of the dogs eating better than Africans.
Hold on, hold on. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
So are you comparing Nigeria 50 years ago to Nigeria today? Or you just comparing Nigeria to America?
Nigeria 60 years ago was 1,000 times better than Nigeria has ever been. When my grandfather was
Really,
growing up,
really.
you see, this is what I'm saying. Let me explain to you. Most Nigerians, diaspora, and most Africans who are in the diaspora don't know Nigeria's actual development. They have no idea. So what they assume is Nigeria has always been backward. Nigeria was on the precipice of great revolutionary change in terms of her infrastructure, in terms of everything. Nigeria was feeding, in terms of feeding herself, was 100% self-sufficient, self-reliant. There was no importation of food. Do you know the first time we saw babies with the swollen stomachs and the flies, the feed the children trope? The first image we saw of that was the Nigerian Civil War, the Biafran genocide, 1967. That was the first time. And that event greatly destroyed Nigeria's progress, because had those soldiers not did that coup, and the repercussions that happened, because now the soldiers, there was a mutiny amongst the soldiers who took over. The lowest soldiers, the governors, and I mean the generals that we saw rule Nigeria from the northern faction, they were actually the lower ranked soldiers from the top elite soldiers who actually went to school, who were more educated. These were like the local level boys, but they were angry, became an ethnic thing when they rebelled against their seniors and killed them. And a lot of these guys were not well trained in terms of, it's like you have the Army Corps of Engineers, and then you got like some, jarhead that just shaved his head and said he wanted to be a badass and he joined the military. So a lot of those guys were of that cloth. They were just like jarheads, shaved their head. They wanted to just go crazy. They weren't really like reformed soldiers with a deep education on how to run a country or how to run an institution. They killed those soldiers who had that, which again, there was ethnic politics going on. That first coup, unfortunately, looked like an Igbo coup. So then there was retaliation against all Igbos. Sadly, that's what happened. So that event messed up Nigeria. Prior to that, Nigeria was on the path to being one of the greatest countries in the world. Like I said, my grandfather, when he went to his village, he came back with fish, fruits, vegetables, all kind of things. The village had abundance. The village, because remember, Lagos and all these so-called urban spaces, they weren't the places. They're not even. They're foreign to how Africans. The real places that Africa developed was the old capital cities before the British came and colonized Nigeria and took over the administration. So the villages and all these other places had the real growth. The former capital of Nigeria is not even Lagos. It's actually Calabar. That's the original capital of Nigeria, right? So these places had real growth. You had the real population density there. You had thriving commercial activity along the ports and these other places in the northern part of Nigeria. You had a lot of commercial activity there. So Nigeria, they were building railway to connect northern Nigeria and Lagos. They could have continued building that. They didn't do any of that. That got retarded. The growth, Nigeria's growth was retarded after the coup. And the guys who took over, they weren't trained officers. They weren't educated officers to really know how to really run an administration of a country. They didn't care. They didn't have that upbringing and that understanding, right? So Nigeria 50 years ago was 1,000 times better. You could become rich. You didn't have women prostituting themselves. There was no, like now you think of a Nigerian girl, she just wants money from some guy, and she has a breast, and go to Dubai and have sex with some man, go to Italy and be a prostitute. Nigerian women were not Nigeria first. Am I lying? How many Edo girls were in Italy in 1963 saying they want to suck one white guy's penis to make money so they can send back to their village? How many Edo girls were doing that?
Guys, they look for trouble. Make we drop this matter. We're not
No,
for
no vex. I'm not. See, Urobo girls, they do their own. I'm not insulting. We know. I'm not saying it to insult. I'm saying 1963, proud Edo girl is going to school. She's marrying her husband. She's proud to be an Edo woman. She tie her wrapper. She go to a market. What happened? How did we go from that? How do we get our girls now in Dubai letting one Arab shit in their mouth and sleep with a dog? What happened to
Okay.
No,
our
no, but
women?
that's not coming from the government. That's coming from the people being corrupted by
No, that's
westernized
coming.
media.
No, you're
So
lying.
hold on.
That's
So
coming
why
from. That's
why is the house
coming.
not like that? Why is the food
Good. I
not like
was so.
that? Why is the canary
They
like that?
are doing.
Why the
No,
canary
let
like?
me tell you. No, I can. Actually, you're wrong. If you go to northern Nigeria, they are doing it. The difference is because Islam is so strong in those parts, they cloak it. But at nighttime, you go to Nigeria first. Tell the truth now. You go to those parts of Nigeria, a lot of those women are doing crazy things. They'll do some strange things for some change. They'll do something strange for some change, as we say in
No, but
America. But
I'm talking about
listen,
the
listen.
masses of people, not that
Yes,
sector of people in the community.
yes, it's not. Listen, the poverty is affecting women everywhere. So my point is that this is a failure of government. In the 1960s, 1961, you wouldn't see that nonsense. Girls weren't prostituting themselves across Nigeria. Even the way relationships are had is just modern day prostitution. The guy is one rich man and he marries a girl, puts her in the house. This is all prostitute based. That's not how it was done culturally. In the old days, if you came back to your village with money, they ask you, where's your source of wealth? You had to prove your source of wealth. That doesn't exist anymore. So what I'm saying is that the government policies broke down social order because of abject and extreme poverty. Okay, one man is here. He probably wants to shut me down. I think maybe I'm doing too much. Am I doing too much, one man?
No, I
Let's
wasn't
hear.
even. No, I wasn't even paying attention. I'm getting ready for my session, so
Okay, okay, just making sure, cause but what I'm saying, my brother, is that the Nigerian situation is very, very problematic, and our people have failed, our elite have failed. So our look, I'm close to the Edo people because we left them. Our women are proud, strong women. The fact that our women are leaving to go to Italy, you think I'm happy about that? You think I'm like, oh, it's the women, it's the people's fault? It's not the people's. This is government policy. No Edo
No,
person.
I'm saying they're getting corrupted by the institutions of the West.
No, but the institutions in the West cannot corrupt you if you have a strong government. How many Japanese women are letting Arabs shit in their mouth? None. But I guarantee you, if the Japanese women didn't have a strong government, they would let Arabs shit in their mouth. Let me prove it to you. Do you know that after the Americans dropped the bomb on Japan, do you know that the Japanese women, in their effort to attract American servicemen, they had to inject their breast. That's where the silicone comes from. They injected their breast because they saw that American women are very busty. So that's where the silicone implants, it comes from them having to attract American servicemen. So that's where the implants comes
Yeah,
from.
but to
So
even
so
even
so
then, they're
after
getting corrupt.
so listen. So after the fall of the Japanese system, they couldn't defend themselves. Now their women had no choice but to let themselves be open to the efforts of American servicemen. But prior to that, you wouldn't see a Japanese woman throw her arms around some American Marine. She was good with her Japanese man. So what I'm saying is we African men have failed to create institutions so that our women don't leave and become corrupted by the West. If we have a circular economy, if you and I can trade from Haiti, Haiti's problem is the land. I'm going to do a show on this. I'm going to bring back my channel and do a show. So it's my shameless plug. But Haiti's problem is that the land, after this guy Toussaint and these other people, I'm sorry to say they're all fools, but after they made big mistakes, what happened is that the farming of the land was so bad in Haiti that there was nothing but soil erosion. So now Haiti, there was no circular economy for Haiti to trade.
Sorry, guys.
Yes, sir.
You can actually do that session on the one man platform. I'm looking to I'm looking to populate the platform with different voices other than mine. So anybody that wants to use the platform can use it. So if you want to do that, you can.
Oh, I appreciate that. I got your email, so we'll definitely talk. So my point is, my brother Principe, Haiti, because of the soil erosion and the bad politics, they were not properly able to manage. And then also Haiti didn't have anyone to trade with, because had Haiti had an opportunity to do business with Nigeria, when the food production became low, they don't have to sit there and rely on Dominican Republic or rely on America. They now can say, you know what? Let's call our brothers in Nigeria. But the Nigerians were busy fighting coups and killing themselves in the Biafra War. So Haiti don't have no partner. So of
No,
course, this is the
can
problem.
I ask something?
Yeah, good.
Haiti 50, 60 years ago was a richer Haiti than today. It wasn't too deep into globalization. The Haitians that you see that goes to Chile, that goes to DR, is us that doing the planting. So it's us doing all the work. So we are using our expertise in agriculture to help those nations grow. We suffer from the fact that we are isolated in that region. America and DR is the main trading partners of Haiti. Venezuela used to be a trading partner. They had the embargo on them. So now during the years of Hugo Chavez, they was one of our biggest partners in the region as well as Cuba. But those countries has embargoes on them. Jamaica is another nation that we're cool with. They're semi under the bosom of the European. So at the end of the day, we're in the middle of a bunch of people who don't really fuck with us, and you
And that's
expect
what
us to
I'm
be rich.
saying.
You know what I mean?
So
So that's
if
why
Nigeria,
I always praise
but
the AU
Principe,
working with Haiti, but they rejected us
exactly.
from the AU.
No, but Principe, that's my point. I agree. The AU, the African, listen, if the African poor man, if they, first off, they don't even teach them history in the school. But I guarantee you, once you tell an African in a village, right? You go to any African village and you show them Haitian voodoo, and they see the similarities and the identical traits to their culture, their religious system. They say, no, those are our brothers, of course. Welcome them back home. The Africans would say, hell yeah, put them in the AU. They're African. The African elite don't give a shit about nobody but themselves. So when they had the opportunity to welcome Haiti into the AU fold, they said, no, we'd rather be like eBay and sleep with people's wives, shove money up the prostitutes in Dubai's ass. This is what we're dealing with. So what I'm showing you, sir, is that if Haiti had the opportunity to trade with AU partners, now Haiti can open up her economy and do very well, because Haitians can come to Nigeria with an ECOWAS passport or an AU passport.
Mm.
You can do business. You can do,
Uh,
you know what I'm
uh,
saying? Yeah, go
so
ahead.
sorry, sorry, guys. Maybe let's cool it down a bit with the shoving something up people's whatnot.
All
That
right.
usually yeah,
All right.
it's
I'll
only
stop it.
because
I'll stop it.
no
No problem.
it doesn't offend me, but it could get yellow marked and then the monetization is restricted. Yeah.
No problem. I'll stop it. No problem.
Yeah, but gas. I don't think it was an issue with Tucson, Dessalines. It was more of an issue of once you do what you do, who do you trade? It's similar to Zimbabwe. The difference between Zimbabwe and South Africa is the Zimbabwe still had the expertise. They were the one who do all the work for the European. The European wasn't, you know what I mean? But when you make all your harvest, who do you trade with? Now you're making mass production to trade with who? In the past, Haiti used to be 80% self-sufficient. It used to make its own rice. It used to make its own avocados and everything that it used. You know what I mean? We had our own local palate. You see, now we still have our local palate, but because of years and years of manipulation of importation from Syrian, Lebanese type mulatto kind of people, that brings down the local market because those people are spread out in different islands. So those people are not isolated. The president of DR is a Syrian Lebanese type guy. There's a Syrian Lebanese community in Haiti, right? There's a Syrian Lebanese community in El Salvador. That president is also a
In
Syrian Lebanese.
Trinidad, they're in
The Mexican
Trinidad. They're in
president is also
Mexico.
Syrian Lebanese. Exactly.
Let,
So
let me tell you. Let me tell you. Hold on.
they don't
Listen.
have an
In
embargo on them.
Nigeria,
We have an embargo on us.
the Lebanese Syrian mafia runs Nigeria. They have more power than them. The Fulani and the Hausa run Nigeria. The Syrian Lebanese mafia run Nigeria. So
You
listen, look,
see?
Africa. Listen, black people, we gotta wake up and smell the coffee. We can't keep being naive to what we're up against. You know, you have things like dark pools of capital that's global, where these people have just pools of capital where they can use to destroy your economy. They can send all kind of traders to come in and flood your economy. Look at what they did to some of those Asian countries. People like George Soros. You know, George Soros literally attacked the British pound, brought it to its knees. You know what I'm saying? Like the British Central Bank tried to go, they lost to George Soros. So you have people who will destroy your economy. So look, we have to face that fact that we are at war. Unfortunately, the African elites, they don't want to face that fact. What they're trying to do and what they're trying to say is, it's much easier to again, do the things that I don't want to describe because I don't want his channel to get demonetized, but it's much easier to just be cowardice and cowardly. So, and when you bring this to Nigerians' attention, they don't want to face it. That's why I keep mentioning the dogs eat better than the Nigerians, because I know it makes them uncomfortable because it's a painful thing to hear. But I'm not saying it to rub it in our face. I'm saying it so we can, you know what? Let's fix that, man. You know, I saw years ago, they said the people in Haiti were so hungry they was eating allegedly mud. That boiled me on the inside. Like, yo, what's wrong with us, man? How can we let our black African people be so poverty stricken? Like, this is what they got to eat. Why are women going to Italy and Dubai to sleep around? What's going on? Why are dogs eating better than our people? So we have to address that. And to address it, that means people have to take responsibility. That means our elite, our rich men, our big men have to be more responsible than just stealing money for themselves and their children and hiding away in some foreign country. But the question is, are you sure that the African elite are prepared to do that? You think they care to do that?
Like I said, it's not going to happen. I personally believe it happens with social conscience. The people have to raise the demand for it. The same way uh, in Senegal, people I sometimes hear the Franco, the English speaking Africans, whether it's American or African Americans or Nigerian, they look down on the francophone speaking people, but some of them have conscious movements in which they are sensitizing their people against the French domination, right? You'll see Kebi Simba is very popular. He goes in and out of Haiti, he goes to Martinique, he goes to Senegal, he goes to all these places, and he preached, for change and more of an African understanding of what's going on and around the world and the need to become a more Africanized systems or the need for Africanized systems in our nations to create a African first agenda, right? So we it starts with systematization of the masses, and they will then go and force the elites to have a more African and tune agenda. That's what happened in Senegal. That's why I told you that. Is there a level or a push for a more coalition based change with a united agenda? Because I think that you're right. The elites do need to have a more of a say and a more understanding of what the masses are going through, and his agenda must match that. But it starts with the masses demanding that of their leaders. When you don't even demand that of your leaders, a Tinubu who has a questionable FBI record, he could just come in and swoop in and still take power because you're not really asking for that. You're asking for this money and jobs and not a 50-year plan. You see what I'm saying? You're asking for electricity rather than how do we mass produce energy? How do we produce because we get a good amount of sun, get a good amount of water? How do we store this energy? What technology do we have? What innovation do we have? What are these guys doing on the internet? Okay, we have random people creating random stuff on the internet. How do we utilize that? How do we create a school for them? We're not thinking like that. We're thinking like, quick fixes, or we just being too aggressively strong and bashing rather than creating and demanding solutions and agendas. You know what I mean? That's what I'm just saying. You're right for the most part, but it's more agenda based. We're not going to move forward without having a local agenda, a global agenda, and a cross, African agenda. Where whether you're an African American, a Haitian, a Jamaican, you need to have your personal local agenda, a mass agenda, for the others, and then a global agenda where you network with others, especially other Africans around
Yo,
the
let,
world.
let
You
me
know what I
let
mean?
me give
That's
you
what I
something.
think.
Let me tell you what's so great right now. Listen, if Allah and Nigeria first are honest, right? On the ground in Nigeria, do you know what runs the politics? Gangs. Now you have like the gangs in Haiti. So the gangs in Nigeria, they call them cults. And you have different cults in each state. And they're all
I,
connected. And
I,
they're all killing. Yeah, good.
I think Kaizo had a show on that, and they Ola ran and what's the guy? Nigerian first ran. But I was telling them why they're doing
Oh
that,
yeah,
use
they're
those
gonna run.
coats.
Listen, they're gonna run because they probably in some cults themselves. They probably connected. You know what I'm saying? They probably down with them shits too. You know.
No, but I
But
was telling
listen,
them
I'm telling you, if you want to
why don't
get
they utilize the courts to get taxes though? Why don't because if people fear them, why do not they shake down the people, get taxes, give it to the government to create
but
more
they
initiatives
do.
for the masses?
Listen, every day, let me tell you, if you in Nigeria, the Colts and local thugs, they collect taxes from the people. If you a bike man, if you got a bus, if you got a you know, what do you call it? If you sell food in the market, you got to pay your money to the local, you know, area boys and local Colt boys. You got to pay your funds every day. Every time a bus goes by a certain bus stop, they got to pay like, you know, $1 each. Each time they go by, they got to pay $1. And so there's enough money being collected. The question is, what are they using this money for? That money's going into people's pockets. That's not
The
going
government, hold
to
on. The government is aware of that they're collecting taxes.
ah the government.
What the
That's part
fuck?
of their compensation, bro. Listen, look, listen. If somebody tells you they explain Nigeria to you and you understand, they didn't explain it properly, bro. I'm trying to tell you, man. Like Nigeria is not what people think, man. Nigeria is
No, but why don't they institutionalize those people into the system that way they can collect taxes for the government? You know
because
what I mean?
because it's much easier for them. They say it's much. They'd rather take taxes the way they're taking it from the local people, ripping them off and beating them upside the head. It's much easier to do that than to actually, you know, collect taxes in a professional way. Like the way I told you about using the NIN and having a database, they don't want that, bro. They don't want that. Right now they at the stage like, yo, why would I do that? Yo, bust that. If you go there telling them that, they'll bust your head open. Yo, who the fuck is this American? Yo, bust his head open, man. Stab him in the neck, stab him in the eye. Let him, you know, or they'll tell you like there's a slang. They say, "Yo, your body is fresh. You don't got enough war wounds to talk to me." They'll stab you up real quick. You know what I'm saying? Or they'll shoot you if it get down to it. If you didn't get the message with the knife, they'll just send the guns at you, or the voodoo, or they'll do both. So this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with people that like you and I who don't have that type of power. We can't make them change. They're gonna look at us and hear everything we say, and they're gonna be like, "Yeah, we know. We know what's the right thing to do. We don't care, and you don't have the power to make me." So what I'm saying is, the people that can make them change are the people at the top. They got to be the ones to implement change. But listen, okay. One thing I respect about you. Every time you're on the platform, you on there with your family. You being a father. You tell your children, no, sit down, do this, do your work. I hear you. No, not to be in your business. No, no disrespect to your family, but like, yo, do your work. Don't do this. Eat your food right. Wash your hands. You giving your children order and guidance as a father is supposed to do. The elite of Nigeria, do you think they care about being fatherly to the citizens of Nigeria? You think they want to guide the Nigerian people like a father's supposed to guide his children? No, bro. They let their children run wild. They don't care. So that's Nigeria
I,
for you, my brother. That's who we are, man.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, that's why I always bring up that dog example, man. That dog example really.
Yep. Shout out to you guys for coming through. The stream is ending. If you want to continue listening to me, just come click on the link down below over there. Shalom, my loving one.